too high. There we go. All right, I think that's about right. That's good. All right, everybody, welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. That's not even, has anybody, do people say that? Is that something that I just say? Because I think of that. I think of welcome in as my sort of verbal acne. What is verbal acne, you may ask? And it's just these words that pepper our everyday conversation that we use as crutches to maybe gain an extra second of thought or something. And welcome in is how I trigger myself to begin. I don't know. It's like every time I crack a mic, the first thing is welcome in. Interesting. Not really interesting to me because, I'm very self-introspective at the moment. I'm taking a look at some choices. I'm taking a look at, all kinds of things. And the world with you every day at noon. Every day at noon, we gather here and we do talk for what I like to call the working class. I don't want crazy people. I don't want radicalized right, radicalized left. I just want normal people, man. Like the kind of people you'd meet at the corner tavern. The kind of people you just meet and start talking to. Now, I'm a man of a certain age, so I'm not really accepting any new friends. You guys, when was the last time you made a new friend? I don't know how old you guys are or when that stops. When does it stop? Mid-30s? Is mid-30s when you stop making friends? And that's it. You take stock of what you've gathered and you're like, okay, I'm riding with these boys. No new friends. Except like, family members. That's different. But that's different. I'm just talking about, you take a new job. You ain't making new friends. If you're my age, I ain't making new friends. I'm going to do this new job because obviously, I found myself at a place in life where I needed to take a new job at this age, but no new friends. I don't really know how that translates to the online world where you have online friends. I don't know, maybe new online friends. Maybe that's it. That's the future. And you see already the AI robots have won. We're not even having real relationships anymore. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? I had a good weekend. The best I could describe my weekend, peaceful. That's probably good. Not so much with fireworks. I don't know what the hell's going on around here, but it's 4th of July every freaking day on the side. They are still blowing off fireworks. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine because America. Because I love America too. And that's fine. That's fine if some kids want to start blowing off M80s at the park at 3 a.m. when I'm trying to. That's fine because I love America too. I love America. Do you love America? Well, I hope you do. All her faults, all her grandiosity, all her miracles. It's like any good woman. America's like any good woman. A little bit crazy, but, really attractive to the outside world. But a little crazy once you get to know it. We got a lot of stuff we're going to cover today. We're going to bring Maddie on. Maddie's going to help me walk through the whole Lindsey Graham thing. We're going to do full on Lindsey Graham coverage with Maddie. I got a theory, and oh God, I don't know what the other thing was, and honestly, I don't even know why I'm getting her thoughts on my timeline. But like for the first time ever, I've agreed twice in like 24 hours with Laura Loomer. Oh God. Yeah. The chick looks like the scary thing from that scary movie. 2 times. I agree with her on the whole Lindsey Graham thing. I think he was murdered. I'll get into that. But we're going to talk to Lindsey. We're going to talk to Maddie about all things Lindsey Graham today. So we'll dissect that whole thing, and I'll share with you my theory. My theory isn't crackpot. My theory is just like, yeah, that makes sense. That also makes. Oh, and then that connects to. Oh my God. I have a logical conspiracy theory. I'll share it with you. I don't have like hyper specifics. Like I don't know who to go and kill. If we should decide that the person that I think might be involved in the death of Lindsey Graham is the person, I don't know how we go and kill him, but not even sure which guy it is. There's a couple. So we'll break all that down. And Maddie's got thoughts of her own. What else are we going to talk about? We've got a dick of the day. All right, I'll tell you what. Conor McGregor is our dick of the day. We're gonna talk about Conor McGregor, the whole Conor McGregor phenomenon. What the hell he bait and switched us with on Saturday night there at UFC. How dare you dishonor Max Holloway in that way? Yeah, we'll talk about Conor McGregor. He's our dick of the day, Conor McGregor. Somebody made a whole lot of money, though. Somebody. Like 95% of bets wagered on that fight were wagered on Conor McGregor, which me and my son, who my son knows like a whole lot about MMA and all that stuff. But I used to. I'm a little bit older now. But me and my son are sitting here watching the ramp up to this fight, thinking Max is going to fucking break his soul. Like, why do people think Conor's going to win? Max Holloway is going to ruin him. Anyway, Dick of the Day. We'll focus on the Conor McGregor disappointment in our Dick of the Day segment. But we got 3 videos. Not only because of the passing of Lindsey Graham, but we usually don't do this in such close proximity. But you know, my fascination with high-profile deaths, I love it. I keep track of them. That's right. Every year, January 1st, I begin the new slate. Who died this year? I believe in the theory of the death trilogy, whereas all high-profile notable people, celebrities, if you will, die in threes. They do that because, well, again, I'm going to share this with you. I'm not supposed to share this with anybody. But when you die, you don't get to hang out. You don't get to party with Elvis. Okay. You know, grandma's not swooning at Frank Sinatra at some private party in heaven. That's no. Celebrities go up to heaven. They want to be left alone. So God, because God is kind of cool, he doesn't give them the lavish lifestyle. He makes them all live in a secluded, gated golf course community that is surrounded by townhomes, 3-bedroom townhomes, and celebrities die in threes because they all fit nicely into the next townhome. So we've got a list of the death trilogies. And man, I know Lindsey Graham, right? But holy shit, dude. We got a whole bunch of them came. And a big one today. Yeah, I haven't seen it covered much, but Sam Neill, the great Sam Neill, died this morning in Australia. Or maybe it was last night, or maybe it was last week. I don't know how Australia works. It seems pretty cool. The women seem amazing, and you know, everything else, beaches, it seems kangaroos. Come on, man. That's reason enough to go to Australia, see one of them critters. But yeah, no, so he died in Australia, and I haven't really seen it publicized all that much. So we'll talk about Sam Neill, the great Sam Neill. I'll do a Sam Neill movie draft for you. We'll give Sam Neill his flowers. The Omen. Dude, do you remember when Damien the Omen grew up and they made the Omen Final Conflict? Sam Neill. That was Sam Neill. Sam Neill was the grown-up Damien Thorne from the Omen movies. I know I'm old. What am I doing? You're never going to get younger like that, dude. I know. Let's say hi to the chat room. That's what we do. We say hi to the chat room because we've got some pretty serious stuff that we're going to start the show off discussing. There's some big breaking news out of Maine. Apparently, there's been another ice shooting. We've got video. We've got eyewitness accounts. So we're gonna dig into that right here at the start of the show. But first, let's give the chat room their flowers. I like to reward a podium system, kind of like F1, Formula One racing. First place, second place, and third place all get their flowers. Excuse me. You know, I think it might be air conditioning that's been wreaking havoc with my voice the last week. But we haven't had the air conditioning on here in Chicago. Haven't needed it. Oh, gonna need it this week though. It's going up to like the mid 90s. That's all right. We put up with that for a week in Chicago, and then it'll go back to the high 70s, mid 80s. All right. Anyway, back to the chat room. The podium system. First, second, and third places who get rewarded every day. And we've got a brand new first-time winner. First time with the checkered flag. It's Hugh. Hugh Morris. Look at him go. Hugh. Second place. I like this. My old buddy, Adam. Adam's there in second place. Third place, Jen. Jen S. Talk about consistent. Talk about my girl, my side piece, my chat chicken side piece. That's 1, 2, 3. Hugh Morris, Adam, and Jen. Awesome. Then we got Taronda. I like that Taronda lets other people win from time to time. I think that's classy. It's one of the things that I admire most about Taronda. Then we got Leslie C. Of course, she's in the chat room. Peter's here. Barney's here. KB's here. Mama B is here. Apes is here. And, of course, we've got Auntie Lib, Fem, Peter, and Barney, all these people. All right. Well. Howdy, Miss Kim. There you go. That's how you do it properly. That's how you do it. All right. Let's see. Look at our girl. Our girl's ready to go. Yeah, we've got big breaking news. Big breaking news out of Maine. It's all, the fog of war. I always say, be wary of the breaking news reports. That's why I love the breaking news, because there's all kinds of things that in the moment get that dopamine firing. Oh my God, there's multiple gunmen. So we're right now in that part of the ICE involved shooting there in Bidford. You probably got to say it with a Maine accent. And I don't really know how to do a Maine accent, but Bidford, Maine is what we'll call it. Excuse me. I don't know, man. We'll look at some video and stuff, the early stuff, and then we'll see whatever live action we've got happening right now. But it doesn't look good. It looks like another one of these. Well, we'll get into that. First, thank you to our chat room, and thank you to our podium. Hugh, Adam, and Jen. That's our podium today. Like, follow, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. It is still July, and we are still in Pledge Week. That's right, Pledge Week. It goes on until we get some. We do want to honor our heroes. That's right, our July heroes. These are my chickens in the coop who support this show. Some of them more times than is comfortable for me. I mean, we'll take it. We need it desperately. But, at some point it's like, oh, God. Okay, so I got to add him to the list of people who get bone marrow should they need it from me. Got a bunch of people that are in line for my bone marrow. First come, first serve people. I don't know how much I got. So the first one of my friends who have helped out. If you need bone marrow, let me know, because again, first come, first serve. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to our July heroes. We have added a couple of new names. Let's see who we've added for July. Oh, of course, we've got Maddie multiple times. She's like a part of the show, but that's okay. I love it. I appreciate it. We've got Peter multiple times. By the way, with Maddie, we got to find out how to promote what she's doing over there on Twitch, because she's a fireball, man. She is a fireball. So remind us to talk about just how, because I'm going to be on with her a couple of times, because I want to go over, I want to get involved in all kinds of messes. And I think that Maddie, I think she's going to make some loud messes. And that's what you got to do. Make them loud messes. So we'll talk to Maddie. Thank you to Peter. Thank you to Peter and Miss Kim. I'm guessing Miss Kim's involved here. Barney, so many times. Mama B popping up over the weekend. I'm like, look at that. Thank you, Mama B. It's really flattering, that one. That one's moving. Thank you. Mikey D, as always, so consistent. And Leslie C. Those are our July heroes. Didn't add really many names over the weekend. Thought maybe we would. We didn't. We added Mama B, and thank you so much. Appreciate it. Add your name to the list by dropping a little something in either the Cash App or the Venmo. That's how this show moves forward. We're our goal. We don't even have goals anymore. Now it's just constant fundraising. We couldn't reach our goals. All right, but that's okay. So we're gonna keep doing shows because this is what we do, and I like doing it. My weekend was pretty great. How was yours? It was a baseball weekend, man. You may notice I'm not wearing my White Sox cap because I pledged to you that I would only wear my White Sox cap. This one here doesn't even get screen time. Shouldn't even get screen time. Only deserves screen time when it's in first place. It's not in first place at the moment. Sure, it's tied for first place, but that's not good enough anymore. That's right. A fan of the team who just 2 years ago set the Major League Baseball all-time record for futility is now tied for first place in the All-Star break. We're very excited, but I'm still not going to wear their hat until they're alone in first place. So we had a fun weekend. The White Sox, they swept the Oakland A's. Okay, that's all well and good. Friday night was a miracle night on the south side of Chicago. We just have these Friday. It's always a Friday night game. It's another one of these crazy Friday night games here on the South Side. Something happened that I would have never in a million years bet would happen. And then on Saturday, my White Sox drafted a generational first overall consensus pick, Rock Chalowski out of UCLA. We couldn't be more excited about Rock Chalowski. Have no idea where he's going to play. You know what we did? We had so many picks. The White Sox just, we had a lot of good picks. We had 1, we had 34, we had 41. Crazy. Like in the top 100, we had like a bunch of picks. Anyway, we took the number 1 overall guy, shortstop. And 34, we took another shortstop. And then at 41, I think we took another shortstop. And hey, man, you got to. They're the best athletes. At that level of baseball, you're just drafting shortstops because they can be turned into anything. So I don't know about Rock Chalowski's future, third base, shortstop, second base, whatever, maybe first base if he's as good a hitter as they say he is. Anyway, great baseball weekend for us. We had a lot of fun. I hope you did as well. And tonight's a big baseball night, man. Tonight is the home run derby. It's the only thing. It is the only thing, in my opinion, worth watching on All-Star MLB weekend or whatever it is. I guess I watched the Futures game. I watched the Futures game yesterday. Me and my son did because we're baseball addicts at this point. We're watching baseball now, just like not even teams that we root for. We're just watching baseball. Which I got to tell you, man, this whole summer, my kid, he's going through some changes and stuff, and you got to get him out of his phone. And I can't believe that baseball has been this effective at just like getting him to sit on a couch with me for 3 hours a night and just have natural conversations. I mean, baseball really is magic. They've made movies, Field of Dreams and all that. But there is, and not just fathers and sons. I mean, fathers and daughters, whatever. There's just something about that. 9 innings, slow pace, opens, a lot of conversation. It's just great. Baseball's magical. Football's probably the same thing, but this summer, my son and I are enjoying baseball, and we've got a home run derby tonight. Holy cow. Now, first of all, it's being held in Philadelphia, which is very exciting. This being America 250 and all, Philadelphia being sort of the epicenter of that whole deal. You got Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber today hitting in the home run. They play for the Phillies. They're the hometown guys. They got to be the favorites. But now, fresh off the injured list, Munetaka Murakami has been named to the home run derby. So we're very excited around here because in this house, we think Mooney's going to just crush everybody. Don't know how Vegas is looking at it because Mooney, first of all, since coming off the injured list, Mooney was on the injured list for like 6 weeks with a hamstring. He had already hit 20 home runs. He would be at 40 now, probably, if he hadn't been injured. Now he'd be at easily over 30. So since coming off, he came off on Friday, so he played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. No home runs. The home run stroke isn't seeming. Struck out a couple of times with big cuts. He's coming off the injured list. I think he's going to explode tonight. I think Mooney's going to introduce himself to the entire country. Anyway, home run derby tonight. We're very excited. Probably the only people you guys know who are excited about this. Unless you know a lot of White Sox fans, but we are very excited. Let's say hi to the chat room really quick. Who's going what? Who's what? Who's excited about what? What did I miss? We've got Ape saying, I am so jealous. Hope you have the best time. Who are you jealous of? All right. Mama B, your voice and your mouth. Mouth. Voice. Your voice and your mouth do not match. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm seeing a little bit of a lag, too. Hey, Al is in Dominican. Oh, that's what's going on. Al's down in the Dominican? All right. Again, with Al, I always get confused with Al because I think of Al as an Italian, but apparently he's not. So my first thought was, what's an Italian doing in the Dominican? But then I went, wait, I think Al might be Latino. Al is Latino. Happy times to you there, Al. Hope you're having fun. All right, let's get serious. Let's do the serious part of this. There's been another shooting, an ICE-involved shooting in Bangor, Maine. I'm sorry, Bittenford. Let me pull up. Hold on. Give me a quick second. All right. So, well, let's just look at the videos that were going around first. All right. I'll give you, what is this? Is this local news coverage? Local news, boots on the ground. Witness says Bidford shooting victim told police, "I tried to stop." Here's what we know. We know that ICE has been involved in the death of a driver of a car in Bidford, Maine. As of this moment, because I had to give up my research about 25 minutes ago, as of this moment, or as of my knowledge, we don't know who the victim is. We don't know if he's, looks Mexican. There you go. That's probably the best. Does he look Mexican? It's Maine. Those are the best illegals. They really traverse the entire country. Those are the ones that do not give up. Those are the ones we want, quite frankly. They make it all the way to Bangor. They make it all the way to Maine. Anyway, we don't know. We don't know if this is a guy who looks like someone that ICE might be involved with. We don't know yet. We know this occurred in front of a pawn shop. Seems like ICE may have been staking out a local pawn shop. We'll pull that up. We'll look at that on the maps and all that. But let me give you the stories, okay? This comes to us from the Portland Press Herald. First story out. These are usually the first stories out. Why? Because somebody who works for the Portland Press Herald could probably jump in a car and be on the scene in 15 minutes. Networks got to charter a helicopter and they got to find a place to land their big star, right? So early reports, the best early reports, I should say, almost always come from the local boots on the ground reporters, who are then picked up by the bigger and national reporters. Daniel Boucher was getting ready for work on Monday morning when he heard what sounded like fireworks going off outside of his home near downtown Bidford, Maine. By the way, Bidford, Maine, holy cow. Here, I should probably update this with meant to do this before. I'm sorry. Make it look all official, right? No. Well, should probably spell it. All right. I mean, this is... All right, maybe that's it. Before we get into this, it should probably, boom, there you go, make it look official. All right, let's get back into the story. Daniel Bouchard was getting ready for work Monday morning when he heard what sounded like fireworks going off outside his home near downtown Bidford. He rushed to the window where he saw an SUV trying to ram a small white car in the intersection. Moments later, agents in vests stopped the car and pulled the driver out. He was bleeding profusely from the head, Boucher said later Monday morning. He was talking. He said, "I tried to stop." Boucher watched in disbelief as the man's legs stopped moving as he lay on the ground. He believes that he watched him die. The man has not been identified by authorities, was apparently shot by immigration agents, this according to House Speaker there in Maine, Ryan Factow, who represents Bidford. Across the intersection of Hill and Pool Streets, a resident named M heard a gunshot around 7:15 a.m., followed by about 7 more pops. Her first thought was that it was a drive-by. She hadn't heard any yelling before the shots rang out, however. M, who asked, first of all, drive-by in Maine? What? How bad is America? How bad? I mean, seriously, I live on the south side of Chicago. And if I were to hear, I wouldn't think drive-by first. I would think any number of things. This woman lives in like what appears to be, because I've driven around it today, in Google Maps. I drive on Google Maps. I explored the area. This woman lives in like a picturesque Stephen King town, you know? It's gorgeous. Anyway, drive-by. M thought it was a drive-by. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. M said that agents appeared to crash into a vehicle. M said agents appeared to crash a vehicle into a smaller car in order to get it to stop. Then the driver was pulled out. Again, this is the second eyewitness, M. No one went to him and no one did anything, she said, her voice choking back tears. Again, this is eyewitnesses on the ground speaking to the first local reporter on the scene, Portland Press. M said agents appeared to crash a vehicle into the smaller car to get it to stop. Then the driver was pulled out. No one went to him. No one did anything, she said as her voice choked back tears. After Biddeford police and an ambulance arrived on the scene, Boucher, this is now the first guy, the first eyewitness, Boucher said that he saw someone appear to start CPR on the driver. Boucher went out to his front door where, I want to make sure I get this. Boucher went out to his front door where the ICE agent he believed fired the shots walked past him. Okay. I said, this was awful. And he said, he was trying to ram me, according to Boucher. Boucher said the man's body lay uncovered in the street. An awful thing to see, he added. I wouldn't want anyone to see what I witnessed. I wish they had covered that body. I mean, yeah. Boucher said he called Biddeford police after the shooting, but doesn't plan to talk to the FBI or ICE because they'll sweep this under the rug like they have so many times before. I mean, hey, I've been saying now for months that I do not trust any of our institutions at the moment. Are they capable of getting that trust back in me? Yes, hopefully. At the moment, I agree with this guy. I wouldn't talk to the FBI. You know what I'd say to the FBI? I don't remember. I can't. Oh God, it was all so awful. It happened so fast. I got no details. I can't help you. Don't trust him. It's Kash Patel. I'm sorry. Sorry. There's a line for me. Boucher said he called Biddendorf police after the shooting. Hours after the shooting, both Boucher and M said that they keep thinking about the man who died. Boucher, who stopped several times while describing the scene to compose himself, kept coming back to the words he heard the man say. He was saying he was trying to stop, and then he died. Why? Because he was driving a car? Boucher said. I don't know who this man was, but he didn't deserve to be executed in the streets. M said. I'm pretty fucking tired of people dying in the streets, she added. Me too, M. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. Okay, so that comes to us from the Portland Press Herald. That was one of the first story with eyewitness accounts that was offered there. Again, there may be more now. All right, so let's look at some video. This came to us from someone on the scene. This occurs after the gunshots. It is believed that the man at this point is dead. He's already been shot, and the car is out of control, and the car is spinning in circles in the intersection here in front of the pawn shop. I don't know if he was at the pawn shop. I don't know if the sting involved the pawn shop. I don't know, but this all occurs in front of a pawn shop. So here you go. This was an eyewitness video from the scene. This is the white car. Right? This is the pawn shop, this building here. And this, look at how cute this little town is. You got M worried about drive-bys. All right, so here you go. The car, you can see the car's out of control. It's kind of going in circles. This is before they've pulled the body out. He was apparently shot in the head. This is going to be a big deal, folks. This is going to be a big deal. We're back doing this again. It's summer. People are going to take to the streets. It's convenient. I'm just saying, for sizes, for, these things, the big ones occur in the summer. This is not good. Again, I'm not saying that the event, I don't know the events. We don't know the timeline. We don't know what this is all about. What I'm saying is this in general happening on the heels of Houston is not good. It's not good. All right. So anyway, that's the video. I think we have more video. Let me see. Do we have something else? We'll tap into the new stuff. Yeah, so here, let me show you this. Why not? This is we'll take you to the actual location where it occurred, what we were just looking at there. So I want to show you what a beautiful, I mean, when I mean, this is small town America. I know it's not what you imagine when you think of rural America, but these are small town people in rural Maine. Maine, I guess, is the what? That's why does this happen in small town, Georgia? I don't know. All right, let's just watch. All right, let's see here. So we're looking here. This is kind of the area from an overhead view. You can see it's here. Look at this. It's it's right on the water. Look at how beautiful this all is. Right, look at that. Right on the ocean, beaches, all of this. So what a gorgeous, gorgeous part of America. All right, so now let's. I'll show you the intersection where this all happened. Bacon and Hill, Pool Hill. Hold on. So we got to find the jewelry store, which is where this all went down. All right, now suddenly I can't find the place that this all went down. There's Hill. Oh boy. I don't even know that's that important. Yeah, I don't know. There's a jewelry store. There's somewhere around here. Let's just go right here. Let's just say this was it. But this is not it. Where is it? Look at this town, though. I mean, this just looks like one of them Stephen King towns. Let's go up this way. I don't know. This kind of maybe this looks a little shady. Maybe this part looks a little shady. I don't know. I don't know. Shady. It looks lovely. I got to be honest. Well, let's go up this street. Bacon. All right. Bacon and Hill is where it supposedly occurred. Is Hill down this way? Oh, this is Alfred. All right. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you can see this is a lovely little American town, which you wouldn't think. I mean, okay, all right, here we go. Sorry, I'm getting a bunch of stuff. All right, let's jump into the live stuff. Let's see if we can get caught up. I think the best way to do that might be just hitting up the Twitter, Bidford. Let's see, Bidford hashtag. No, maybe that's not going to work. Maybe it'll be. Yep. All right. Let's see what the latest is here. Let's just scroll through some of this. Boom. All right. Story about a moose, I guess. Let's see what the world is saying. All right. So according to I don't know what sources these are, but we're going to share them because we live in the internet world. I think the onus is on you, the individual, to confirm these sources. Says here, man 26 identified as Jefferson Melchor Sanchez. There it is, from Colombia. Again, this is just some guy posting on, we don't know. Man 26, identified as Jefferson Sanchez from Colombia, was here legally on a work authorization, but recently it was rejected under the Trump administration and an order for removal was given. Well, that doesn't sound good. All right, if that is in fact true. Let's see. I keep asking the same question. Okay. I'm just looking for some news stories, some new news stories. What the hell is this? Jesus. Twitter. Did you see this? This is Elon Musk's Twitter. It's a very serious subject that we're trying to find pertinent information on, and we get this. We get that guy doing pubic shaving. This shouldn't be allowed. Boy, Maine's been in the spotlight a lot this week, huh? All right, let's see what Susan Collins has to say. Susan Collins, of course, the Republican senator from Maine, says The shooting in Bidford requires a full and impartial investigation of what happened. Sad that we live in a time, and again, I'm going to use that phrase. It goes without saying, Susan. It goes without saying. Why? Most of us normal people assume that there would be a full and impartial investigation, but again, we live in times where it goes without saying. Needs to be said. The shooting in Bidford requires a full and impartial investigation of what happened. It is my understanding that the Bidford police have secured the site and that the FBI is investigating. Oh, well, thank you, Senator Action Jackson. Let's see here. What is this? Is this the scene? Should we watch this? I don't love this video, but let's check it out. I don't know what we're looking at here. Hold on, guys. All right. Okay. All right. Let me see. What else do we got here? Got to get rid of that. No. Let's see here. Around 8 a.m. Here are more details that we've got here. This is, what is this? One person was killed in a shooting involving U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents in Bidford. The incident occurred around 7:15 a.m. Local time at the, so what is that? What is that? What is it, 7, 8? Wait, what is it? It's east. They're ahead of us. So 6:15 Central Time. The incident occurred around 7:15 local time at the intersection of Poole Street and Hill Street. While ICE and the Department of Homeland Security have not yet issued formal public statements, local, state, and federal officials have confirmed the fatality, and a full active multi-agency investigation is currently underway. Okay, let me see if there's anything more. What do we know? The shooting occurred, as it says, just before 7:18 at the intersection of Poole and Hill Streets in Bidford, a town roughly 15 miles south of Portland. Local residents reported hearing between 4 and 5 gunshots, which were captured on area doorbell surveillance cameras. Yeah, there's a video of a cat. There's a cat sitting on a table, and apparently the owner of the cat goes to work and has a cat fetish, and the camera is trained on the cat, and you're watching. There's a video, you'll see it. In the cat, you hear, and the cat's like, anyway. According to Maine Senator Angus King, who was briefed by Homeland Security, the individual killed was the specific target of an ICE immigration enforcement operation. King stated he was told that the individual weaponized the vehicle before being shot by an agent. That's all. That's what we hear. They weaponized the vehicle. We got to see it, right? I got to see what's going on. I got to see the timeline. I got to see the video. I know that there have been a couple of situations where judges who have had all the evidence have said that's bullshit and thrown out they weaponized. I mean, that led to remember Bavino? Those kinds of shit, that led to the demotion or whatever of Greg Bavino. They were just, they were making up bullshit about their reasons for these violent interactions on the streets. So, okay. So he used his car. Somebody's probably actually going to use their car. Many probably have. So I'm not saying in every case that they say this, it's a lie. We don't know yet. We don't know. It just looks bad. It's just a bad look. So get out of the way. I mean, I don't know what to say. That does shooting the crime that his current life is being completely destroyed over, which, as we've heard a report, he was here legally on a work permit, but Trump's new laws rejected that. So Apparently now he's, if he resists being taken into custody and having his entire life overturned. I don't know how long he's been here. I don't know the details. I just, he doesn't seem like he was in the middle of raping somebody. I don't know that this level of fuck him, shoot, I don't know that is deserved. No, I do know. It's not. It is not deserved. Just let me come out and say it. It's not deserved. This guy tries to flee, you let him flee. He does. He's not. Is he? We don't know. We do not know. Again, we do not know. And right now, because we don't know, innocent till proven guilty. This is an innocent man who is dead because of some paperwork and political legislation that changed his whole life. I don't know. I don't know that, you tried to ram me, so I had to kill him. I think he tried to get away, get out of the way, let him go. I mean, we had this with police chases, right? Where it became like sort of, I don't think it was a law, but I think the individual police departments around the country, after crazy incidents, decided that they don't have high-speed chases through neighborhoods anymore. If it starts to become that, they back off. I think that's probably smart. I think that's kind of like this situation where you just got to look, it's not about ego. It's not about how dare him try to get away from me on the law. Stop that. It's about the mayhem that is going to occur because of your ego and because you are demanding that he be arrested. Doesn't common sense dictate that it's got, like, what if the crime is truly that the law that had him in this country legally suddenly got changed? If that is his violation, that this operation to apprehend him was driven by, isn't that stupid to have it end up this way? Isn't this an incredible failure? Whoever is leading these operations, isn't this, well, it is. I don't have to ask the question. It's rhetorical. Of course it is. According to Maine Senator Angus King, who was briefed by Homeland Security, the individual killed was the specific target of the immigration enforcement operation. King stated he was told that the individual weaponized the vehicle before being shot by an agent. An eyewitness reported seeing a driver accelerate a white sedan towards an ICE agent before shots were fired, leaving visible bullet holes in the vehicle's front windshield. If you're a cop out there, and I still look at ICE agents as cops, as suspect as I think their qualifications may be, all right, they got a badge and they could fuck up my day if they wanted to. I'm going to treat them like I would treat a cop. I'm not going to get into this argument. These are courtroom arguments. The next 12 hours of my life, I don't want to be in handcuffs. So I'll treat them like cops. They're cops. But if there's a cop standing there and he's driving forward towards him, shooting is justified. We got an eyewitness here. We got one eyewitness that said, okay, before being shot by the agent, he weaponized the vehicle. An eyewitness reported seeing a driver accelerate a white sedan towards an ICE agent before shots were fired, leaving visible bullet holes in the vehicle's front windshield. So from the Portland Reporter, we had one report with two eyewitnesses, and that report, those witnesses seem to be very much, this is outrageous. How did this happen in our streets? And now we've got another victim who's being cited by independent Senator Angus King, another witness who was saying that no, the dude drove the car towards. So early goings, man. While federal authorities have not yet publicly verified the victim's name, the Maine Immigrants' Rights Coalition and advocacy group identified the victim as a 26-year-old man from Colombia. So that is the Sanchez dude, Jefferson Sanchez, who we heard name checked in another article. Immigrant advocacy groups have now confirmed that the young man was authorized to work in the United States, possessed a valid Social Security number, and was actively on his way to work when the encounter occurred. Conversely, federal officials noted that he had previously been issued an order to leave the country. He just ignored that. Just ignored that one. The Biddeford Police Department quickly secured the scene, but explicitly stated their role was limited to perimeter security. They have directed all operational inquiries to federal authorities. Maine Governor Janet Mills has now confirmed that the Maine State Police, the State Attorney General's Office, and the Office of Chief Medical Examiner are on site. Senators Susan Collins and Angus King, one a Republican, one an independent, along with Maine House Speaker Ryan Fectow, he was the one who first broke it, that it was an ICE-involved shooting, confirmed that the FBI has also responded to investigate the shooting. There are currently some protests gathering there locally. The incident has triggered immediate community pushback. Demonstrators gathered for a noon rally at Mechanics Park in Biddeford, while others staged protests outside Susan Collins' local office. Several local officials have expressed frustration over the lack of transparency. Already? See, this is political. You're trying to get that. Why are they being so evasive? Because it happened like 4 hours ago, man. Because, stuff is trickling out. They're figuring it out. I don't know that we can start with they're being evasive like within 5 hours. That seems like somebody who's trying to get quoted. Somebody who's trying to get their name attached to something that will see wide distribution. Why are they being so evasive? Why have we not solved this, adjudicated it, and already sent the offender off to serve his sentence? Why? Stop it. Look, we get to tomorrow and there's still no press conferences. Nobody's taking questions from the press. Then we got a problem. But right now, let's tap them brakes. Everybody's so ready. Several local officials have expressed frustration over lack of transparency and the heavy federal presence on the scene. This event marks the latest fatal confrontation involving federal immigration enforcement during this administration's localized crackdowns, following a highly publicized fatal ICE shooting in Houston just days prior. All right, well, let's go to the chat room, I guess. Let's share this one with the chat. It's happening now, so. All right. Apparently that resonated with nobody. All right. So nobody, there's nobody in the chat. Let's see. Maddie out there producing. Maddie's sending us stuff. Let's see. Don't make me sign in. Twitter's now got like a code. Ugh. You know what my code is? My code is like 11111. That's going to be my code for everything from now on. I'm done coming up with clever number combinations. This is going to be from the 97 Bulls. Every number is a guy who scored over 30 points in game 5. Stupid stuff. You make up these little things. Everything is 1111 now. That's it. Tired of these. All right, thank you. Maddie's provided us with some video. Let's watch some of this. All right, these are people now gathering there on the scene. We were just talking about some local protests that are popping up there in Biddeford, Maine. Let's see if this is. Yeah, hold on. All right, let's start this one. Hold on. All right, this looks to be from the scene. Yeah, I don't need to see that. The guy's wearing like what's he going out to do? Road construction work? Or is that a medical thing? No, it's like a medical bag. All right, I don't need to see this. Do some shit. Ooh. All right, there you go. Let's see. What else do we have? Sorry, it sounds like I got some noise outside. Okay, here we go. Holy shit, it's summertime in Maine, man. These people are out there early. Look at this. Here's a protest going on right now in Sleepy, Maine. Sleepy Stephen King, Maine. This looks pretty impressive. Here we go. Let's see. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Seven seconds. But that's it's like people are already gathering. They got the signs ready. Those are professional protests. Yeah, shut up. It's engaged citizens. Nobody's being paid. Kidding me? If you were able to get paid for that shit, you don't think I'd be doing it? I'd be a great crisis actor. You dummies. All right, what else? Is there anything else? Thank you, Maddie. Appreciate it. I got too many windows open, guys. All right, let me see what is the absolute. Yes, I did. Let me see. What are live updates? Okay, do we have anything? I'm looking for anything with a press conference. That's what I'm waiting for. Remember, I kind of criticized the local politicians for being, they're being, it's a cover up or whatever he was trying to suggest. The press, let's have a press conference. Let's hear from the institutions. At this point, it would be Homeland Security and FBI. Let's hear from the institutions what they say. So they're going to pull Kristi Noem out of mothballs so that she can say that he was a monster or whatever she said. Remember, the first one? Or was it the second one? I don't know. We lose track now because this has become normalized. We expect this. The latest here. Let's see. The person who was killed today on an ICE-involved shooting in Bedford, Maine, was the target of an immigration enforcement operation, according to Maine Senator Angus King. We already covered that. The Maine shooting comes just days after a federal agent fatally shot a Mexican immigrant during a traffic stop in Houston. Calls for accountability among ICE agents reached a fever pitch. Okay, we don't care about the context of all this. We know the context. We've been living here in America all year. We understand that this is the second one in a week now, after having about, 4 months of quiet. Okay. All right, let's move on. Yeah. There's more videos specifically outside Colin's office. We'll see that. She says they had those signs ready. Yeah, they did. And I don't know that that's a bad thing. I mean, that doesn't mean that any of this isn't true. All it means is that they believed that this was probably going to happen again and they were going to be ready. I guess, people, they're professionals. They're activists. That's all they do. That's not true. That's not true. I mean, maybe in some cases it's people who, they make their business, the leaders, there is a business of, agitating people at the community level now where grassroots, you can fund for whatever. So yes, some of them are like that, but I think most of the people are organic because I think I would be one of those people going, what the fuck is happening? Why are we, this is like 1920 Chicago. This is like Deadwood. Why is this happening? Why are people being gunned down in nice neighborhoods on their way to work, to roof a house or whatever? It just doesn't seem right. Maddie warns, temper your expectations on what you think Mark Wayne Mullen is going to say about this because he's a total mental midget moron. Well, he took the job for status and to get a lot of bookings on Fox News and all that kind of stuff. But that job is a job you take to be fired in disgrace. I mean, he ain't going to last long. He ain't going to outlive the two. They cleaned house. They got rid of Noem. They got rid of Bavino. They cleaned house after the first two. Now we got 2 in a week. We've replaced Alex Preddy and Why do I always forget her? I forget the other one. I don't know. Anyway, now we got two. Mark Wayne Mullen was brought in because this wasn't going to happen anymore, and now we've got two more. So yeah, he's probably on his way out. I'll get another guy in there. Stephen Miller. They'll just cut through all the bullshit and put Stephen Miller in charge of it, and then we'll get his camps, and then we'll get everything that he wants. Mama B in the chat room. She says that CNN reporting now on Maine shooting. Why no body cameras? I don't believe that ICE wears body cameras. I think that's something that local municipal police officers are needed to wear now. I think I don't even know if there's a law concerning the body cameras among municipal police departments. You know what, Mama B? That's a question for AI. Let's ask AI. Are federal agents, specifically ICE or Homeland Security agents, during arrests or targeted operations, are they required to wear body camera? Well, let's see. Oh, thank you, AI. Yes, federal agents from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and other departments of Homeland Security agencies are formally required by internal policy. By internal policy. That means they won't. They probably don't have them. I forgot to. It's not like I don't have to. It's just policy. It's just internal policy. It's best practices. And why start now with best practices? Okay, so it's formal internal policy. Okay, all right, so this is interesting. To me, anyway, we'll see. Department of Homeland Security agencies are formally required by internal policy to wear and activate body-worn cameras, WBCs, during targeted enforcement operations and arrests. Though full deployment of this nationwide is still underway. Oh, yeah, we'll get to it. They'll get to it. Fucking, you can't send out like 500 cameras through Amazon? Jesus, you guys are paying like 10 grand for a toilet and a military bomber, and you can't just send cameras out? And we're rolling it out. We got to build each individual camera for each individual. What? Under ICE Directive 19010-3, which established the official agency rules, officers and agents are mandated to activate their cameras at the start of pre-planned enforcement activity, such as executing a targeted arrest warrant or operation. All right, so under ICE Directive, it doesn't matter. There's an ICE directive with a fancy number next to it that says that these guys engaged in what happened today in Bedford, Maine, need to have activated their body cams. Unless the body cam delivery didn't get to them yet, which is it didn't get there. It was Maine. Come on, man. We're sending body cams to our guys in Minneapolis. Now we had to send a bunch to Houston. We'll send them to Maine now. However, the application of this requirement is subject to two major practical limitations. Let's get into these because these are the excuses. The directive mandates the use of cameras, but the physical rollout across the country is incomplete as of mid-2026. The process of purchasing and distributing cameras to all ICE field offices faces delays blamed on congressional funding disputes and partial government shutdowns. See? Look at what the libs did to themselves. The libs wouldn't fund the cameras, so now we're going to have no cameras, and the libs are going to be mad. I know, that's a provocative way of looking at it, but it is true. I mean, they should have fucking cameras, all right? That should be part of the base budget, not anything extra. They should all have cameras. That's a fuck up of the regime. But also, hey, libs, you're the ones who didn't fund the camera delivery. Great excuse. I'm telling you, man, these ghouls always have excuses built in that sound reasonable. It's true. Maybe, well, you're bitching about no cameras. Anyway, we don't know. Maybe there's going to be cameras. Maybe. We don't know. Let's see here. Even for agents who have been issued cameras, the ICE BWC policy explicitly outlines circumstances where cameras will not be worn or activated. All right, let's see if what we know of the events of Maine this morning fit any of this criteria. Undercover operations. Oh, man. You can't film undercover operations? What the fuck difference does that make? This is what? We violated his civil rights because it was an undercover operation. That doesn't seem to make sense to me. Not everyone has to be released to TMZ. You know what I mean? Is that the fear? Well, we can't have these undercover. Shut up. If something goes terribly wrong, yeah, the public's going to find out. Surveillance. Routine information gathering where a specific enforcement action or arrest is not yet planned. Right. Okay. So if they're like trailing the guy, you don't, because you're not planning to interact with him. Commercial transport. On board commercial flights, an agent doesn't have to on board. Okay. So commercial transport, on board commercial flights, or during controlled deliveries. I don't know what. Okay. So they don't have to wear it when they're on the plane. That's fine. First Amendment protections. Agents are prohibited from using cameras for the sole purpose of recording people engaged in lawful public protests or protected speech, though federal judges have occasionally issued specific court orders overriding this to mandate recording during tense public clashes, such as during Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago. Hey, that's my neighborhood. That's my operation. I live in Operation Midway. Excuse me. Oh. All right. So there you go, Mama B. That's a good question. That was so we don't know. Maybe they will have body cams. Maybe they will not. Adam with some information about the Houston situation. They didn't have them in Houston allegedly. However, I bet they did have it. Yeah, they're in boxes. They're all in boxes, pushed in some room. They're at the they don't want. You think Trump wants? No, they want They want to be able to fucking muscle people and bully people and, really violate our civil rights because these people were the peasants, man. They ain't doing this on the campus of Bard College. No. They're doing this in places where they're fucking up with normal people's day, right? Normal guy just stopping for coffee. Maybe he's looking to get a price on a watch that his dead grandpa gave him. Walks into a pawn shop and all of a sudden it's the Wild West. Guys jumping out of SUVs and black vests chasing a white car. This is happening in like normal America. Stop it. Ugh. And I say this living on the south side of Chicago, where a lot of people think that every time I walk out of my front door, I'm dodging bullets. I live in a nice fucking neighborhood. Anyway. All right. So let's move on from that. We'll do more. Okay. We already did that. Yeah. Okay, so there you have it. So I'm sure that story is going to develop. I'm sure we're going to hear a whole lot more. And over the coming days, I imagine I'll be discussing it. Biddeford, Maine, an ICE-involved shooting left one man dead, 26-year-old Jefferson Sanchez, a Colombian. Let's call him a national because that always makes it sound like he's here like to be a professor. Colombian guy in this country, apparently legally, and then not legally because, they just did a paperwork switch up and all of a sudden he's the outlaw Jesse James. All of a sudden he's Pancho Villa, just because, they filed some different paperwork. He ended up dead. And we'll see how that happens. This is all my take, my average everyday guy, nonpartisan, non-right, non-left, working class dude take. This is some bullshit, man. This is some bullshit. Can't be doing this to these people. Maybe if you had gone out and gotten all the rapists and all the bad guys, but see, they're hard to get, aren't they? They're the ones that are hard to fucking get. The career criminals, the real dangerous ones, the ones that every American would be like, yeah, let's go get them. You know what? The neighborhood will actually help you with them. But they're not. They're doing the easy pickings. They're doing dudes on their way to work. They're doing fathers who've been in this country for 35 years who aren't hard to find because they're trying to be above board. They're trying to live the American dream. And I really do think that most of you people, you have absolutely nothing in your world. America has disappointed you. And all you have is the fact that you are an American. You struggle. You're angry. You think that you're 5 foot tall because some poor guy who makes less than you is suddenly 6 foot tall. That's where this crazy fetishistic American pride bullshit comes from. I love this country. You know what I'm watching right now on Netflix? Have you seen the new special that they put up there for $2.50? It's like a really great multi-part documentary series about, the American Revolution and what America is supposed to be. It is awesome, man. It is awesome. But you don't have to be a fetishist. You don't have to be an abused fucking spouse. We can look at our country and we go, there's some fucked up shit. And you know what? The great thing about America is that you, me, or anybody else can look at this and go, this is some fucked up shit without having people kick our doors in. That's what America's about. I'm tired of people just, they're fucking angry and they're mad and all they have is America. So anybody who disagrees with them must disagree with America. This is fucked up. This situation is fucked up and it's just being done. I don't know. I think it's being done to placate the absolute worst people. So we'll find out more about this as more details come. But again, a man has been killed by ICE agents in a targeted operation there in Bedford, Maine, developing ... All right, let's see what else. We're going to get into all of the Lindsey Graham stuff with Maddie because I have a crazy ass theory on that. But you know what? We're already late. We're already behind. We're already running low. So let me do this. Let me take a quick break. Let me go to the bathroom. Let me refill my coffee. We're going to come back with Maddie. We're going to talk about the Lindsey Graham situation and my theory, which isn't crazy. I've spent the last 24 hours thinking, is this crazy? Or is this really what I believe? It's really what I believe is possible. There's my caveat. All right, one more time. I'm going to take a quick break here. Thank you to our heroes in July. If you want to join our heroes and help support this kind of talk radio, it's neither right, it's neither left. Just a regular guy in the middle, not partisan, looking at this country going, I love it, but let's go. We've got some work to do. Take a quick break. Back with Maddie. Maddie from the left. Maddie's, we're going to talk about our new Twitch stream. We're going to try and figure out how I can promote that so that we can all just kind of go hang out there from time to time. From time to time. You know me, I'm a guy in the middle. I don't know how much of that nonsense I'm going to take. But if it comes from Maddie, I'm sure that I'll hang there because she's very funny. She's very good. She's very funny, very passionate. She's coming up next. Maddie on a Monday. We'll talk about Lindsey Graham and all other things. Quick break. Bathroom, coffee, that whole bit. Back after this. All right, we're back. We're not back in a minute. We're back for good. That's what I say. All right. Just my son, my 17-year-old son is out there on the couch doing what he does, which is watching YouTube videos of other people play video games, which is weird, but actually that's not true. He's out there. I think he's watching he was watching some kind of baseball highlight on YouTube. So I tell him, and we're gonna get to Maddie here in a minute. Maddie, hold on, we're gonna call you. So I go out there and I pull out some nice like chicken breast strips from the freezer, and I walk out and I hold them and I say, I'm gonna defrost these. We're gonna have salads. We're gonna have big kick-ass salads for dinner. And he looks at me, staring at me, because we made a pact. We're trying to eat healthier. You know, on Sundays and over the weekends, we're allowed to have fun. You know, Chicago in the summer, we're allowed to have fun. We're not gonna be Nazis. But Monday through Friday, you know, we're trying to eat healthy, and that's hard on a peasant's salary, but we're gonna try. So I say, yeah, I'm going to make like really big kick-ass salads. I'm going to make chef salads. And he goes, I don't want that. And I'm like, okay, all right. What do you actually, I shouldn't have characterized it that way. He didn't respond that way. I'm doing that performatively. He gets mad when I misrepresent his authentic reactions to things. But he did kind of stare at me. He's like, I don't want that. I don't want a chef salad. And I immediately thought that what he was saying was he didn't want to eat healthy, but that's not what he was saying. Here's what he wants. He's like, all right, here's what I want. All right, you go ahead. You make your chef salad, Dad. You do whatever you need to do. But here's what I want. I want a bed of lettuce and I want some of them chicken strips. That's it. I'm like, that's it? That's it? It's like, yeah, that's it. I'm like, okay, all right. It's like, that's how I like my salads. And then he told me a story about how he went out to a fancy dinner in New York with his mom and he just wanted, you know, like lettuce and chicken. And they brought him a chef salad and he was irate. And I told him, those are first world problems, son. Those are rich kid problems. You were irate. Nah, he didn't. He was just talking about how he was disappointed because he just wants lettuce and chicken. Doesn't need anything else. Hell, that's healthy. I'm not going to condemn that. And then we had a little conversation about the home run derby. We're very excited about the home run derby tonight. Yeah, I know. Vegas and everybody else is saying, oh, it's Schwarber versus Bryce Harper. I'm telling you, folks, Mooney Talk Murakami has entered the home run derby. Mr. Popular. Hold on. What? This isn't. I just got like some weird text that says you will be receiving text messages from Valor Intelligent Processing. They're a debt collector acting on behalf of AT&T Internet. It's something I've never had. I don't know. This is a scam. Oh God, we just live in such a scammy country. Everything's a scam now. All right, let's talk with Maddie. We're gonna do a little Maddie on a Monday here. She's where is she? There she is. We're gonna talk about Lindsey Graham. We're gonna talk about him passing and whatever else it is that Maddie's got on her mind. Let's see what's happening. All right.
Hello.
All right, there you go. It's Maddie. All right, hi Maddie. Hey, first before we get started, anything new that I didn't cover there in Biddeford, Maine? That's happened while
Maine.
Yeah.
Like I said, the protests started up very quickly. Before you got on the air, I was watching my really good friend Grimlow's stream, who is another local Louisiana political streamer. And there were some reporters, mostly just the local ones. I don't think Legacy has really gotten out there like the big, national news. They had been stopping some people on the streets who were out there protesting. One of them, who seemed to be kind of an older guy, these old, like an old written news reporter, he brought up this kind of a similar comment, which I thought was funny, from when somebody said, I said they had those signs ready. I meant that in a very positive way because these people were prepared. Mm-hmm. And I think that's great. And he stopped this little young girl on the street because she had her little sign ready, and he framed it way differently. And he was like, "So you just have this sign with you all the time?" And she was like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah. Okay. So good. So stop on that, because I do want to sort of let's put that under the microscope. There are many people who would see that as a sign of inauthenticity. That you are just some kind of a politically motivated rabble rouser who will get in your car with your pre-made sign and you will drive and you will call. Some people will see it that way. I don't.
Mhm.
Like,
No, I don't either.
I understand how they can see it that way. I don't. I see that as somebody who's engaged in their community or in their region, and they assume it's going to happen again, and they're ready when
Well,
it does.
yeah, and Maine has been, they have a one of these ice activities that have been active in the state of Maine. So, I give these local small town residents, like you pointed
Yeah.
out, this is not Bangor, this is not Portland. This is a very small local community, and and they clearly have had their heads on a swivel, and they've been watching for stuff, and they have their signs ready, baby, and they hit the streets. I mean, within minutes, within 10 minutes of this shooting happening, word went out and people started lining up. And I mean, like I said, we watched it unfold live in real time when I was on my other friend's stream, because he starts streaming at like 7 a.m. And the news hit, people started showing the video, sharing the videos from the white car that was making the circle, and then them, like, that the body flopping out the front door, which they also still handcuffed him. The man was dead. Like, it's really bizarre, and you could definitely tell from these videos that the ICE agents had zero sense of like urgency. Like, they were just kind of slow walking around, scratching their head. What do we do now? Oh God, he's dead. Like really dumb shit. But yeah, I mean, like, they were ready. They saw what happened in Minneapolis, and they saw what happened in Houston, and they've seen what's been happening. So props to them. Hell yeah, they're not paid fucking protesters. These are people that live in Maine, and they live in this state, in this little city, and they don't like what they see happening. Period. Now, Mama B asked a question about body cams, and that forced me to do a little bit of investigation too. And I wanted to tag on, and I did put it in the chat. You didn't read it all the way through. In 2019, the state of Maine shot down a House legislation bill at their state level for all law enforcement officers to be forced to wear body cams. So, what I read was that even though ICE is rolling out body cams in like a tiered effort, they didn't put Maine as a priority because there's no legislation at the state level to force federal agents to do it.
Okay. I do want to also, this town here, Bidford, it's not like super rural. It is a very
Oh,
popular
it's a little small
vacation.
town.
No, it's 12 miles south of Portland, Maine, which, is a fairly sizable area there in Maine. However, just so people don't get excited, it's Portland, Maine, not Portland, Oregon. Okay. So it's not like there is this deeply rooted far leftist community in Portland, Maine, the way many of you
Right.
assume there is in Portland, Oregon. But it is, it is a community. It's a young community. It's a college educated community. Mainers, Portland, it's a very progressive community. So there would be some organizations that are already fairly functional there shortly, or just 12 miles outside of Bidford. So, but that again, that is not incriminating to me
No.
that a neighborhood filled with diverse people might have an objection to what they're seeing happening on the streets of America with ICE. All right, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
And I think it just speaks to the general state of affairs of our country. I mean, I think that people are just much more ready to hit the streets these days because we've seen so much. I mean, remember those the Delaney Hall protests that we witnessed, and things like that. People are ready. They're motivated. They're ready.
Yeah, I think that violence has to occur at these protests for it to cut through now. I think the protests have been normalized. The Delaney Hall stuff that you talked about, that wasn't mainstreamed. That was maybe mentioned a couple of times on the news, but it wasn't like something that they really hammered. I think they've normalized the idea of these protests, and I think that's probably exactly what Trump wants. Trump wants protests not to make big splashy headlines anymore. So we'll see what happens here in Bidford or Portland or wherever else. I mean, this is 2 in a week. This could trigger grassroots mass what do we call them? Protests from coast to coast in major cities. When I watched the video today, I said, look, we're just a couple hours removed from this, but this does not look good. And it's summer, and people like to take to the streets in the summer. And here we go. The second week of July, here we go.
Yeah, well, and I was being snarky, of course, about Mark Wayne Mullen, but this will be one of the first, major things that we will see him, maybe make comments about. And, just based off of other engagement I've seen from him in his past with regards to, how he speaks in public and things. Like I said, temper your expectations, because I don't think it's going to sound very articulate or intelligent.
No, it'll be defensive from the beginning, and it'll probably offer a bunch of hard to believe excuses as to why this unfolded the way it did. That's just what these guys do. Once again, in Bidford, Maine, ICE has shot another person, leaving him dead. And this is a developing story. ... All right, Maddie, you were brought on for a very specific reason, and I have been keeping quiet about this, so I'm going to let you do it. Maddie presents The Wake of Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey? Well, I did my stream last night. My official schedule I've adopted now for when I get online is Tuesday nights and Sunday nights. And so I caught this very, very quickly, because I was looking for some content the night before, and first thing when I woke up on Sunday morning, I was like, oh shit, Lindsey Graham died. Great, let's talk about that on the air. And very quickly after that, I kind of heard how you were ramping up into this conversation. I saw Looney Loomer. I saw what she said. Let's also preface this by saying that, recently Donald Trump claimed that the Iranians had a hit out on him, and hey, they might, but let's also be fair and say that Laura Loomer tagged herself onto that too, and she seems to think that the Iranians want her dead as well. So she puts herself right up there with the president.
She's an instrument of chaos. All of our enemies want her alive. She is not going anywhere. All right, so what did Laura Loomer say that I agreed with? And that was that she sort of, there's a lot of...
She claimed it was a Russian opera.
Right.
She said that he had just gotten off a plane from the Ukraine, which is true, and then immediately speculated that maybe the Russians poisoned him.
Well, yeah, I don't know what the Russians did, but I absolutely believe, if you follow the facts, that is a 100% believable. But here's the things you have to believe. You have to believe that Putin has murdered his enemies relentlessly over the last 25 years. You have to believe that, which I do. So if you don't believe that, then, I guess you think I'm crazy. But I happen to believe that Vladimir Putin is engaged in state murder to silence and marginalize opposition voices in Russia and around the world. People have been poisoned or plutonium poisoned or whatever in England, in Greece, in Africa, in Egypt. All of these are linked to Vladimir Putin. They were all Putin. One guy got thrown off a balcony in Monaco.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Wait, no, hold on. I'm not done.
Doesn't work out.
What? The timeline does work out. What timeline? What are you talking about? Here's what has been happening over the last month. We have seen, and probably longer than a month, we have seen President Trump cool significantly on Vladimir Putin. We have seen President Trump and this administration begin to make amends towards the Ukraine, towards Zelensky. We saw at the G20 last plenty of pictures of Trump happily talking to Zelensky and working with Zelensky. Sure. I covered the story about America now sending qualified defensive missiles. Now Trump is looking to help Ukraine. This is bad for Putin, of course, because we also know, we also know that Putin has been taking a pounding in the last couple of weeks, okay? This is not a great time in Moscow. Now, Lindsey Graham is the singular most important and influential voice on being anti-Putin that is in Trump's inner circle. You're telling me that after the G20 and after a visit to the Ukraine, Lindsey Graham suddenly and unexpectedly drops dead? You think that has nothing to do with Putin? Go.
I don't. And here's why. So I because I was preparing for my show, I saw a couple of things and did a little bit of research. And so after Lindsey landed back at home, he had a conversation with Donald Trump. Donald Trump got on Meet the Press yesterday morning because Lindsey was actually scheduled to go on Meet the Press yesterday and talk about his recent visit to the Ukraine. And he had a conversation with him. He said that happened around 1 a.m. And then he woke up to the news around 7 that Lindsey had passed. And then I also heard I covered the call to the ambulance and what they said during the call, and then heard some other footage and some other commentary about ongoing health issues that Lindsey has had, not just recently but his whole life. And those add up to me believing that this was a what is called a aortic dissection. And there's been many medical experts and doctors and such that have talked about this. And I actually had a friend that passed very recently from this very same thing, and it is literally instantaneous when you have this aortic dissection. So my belief is that Lindsey Graham, who is 71 years old, who has had hypertension and high blood pressure through most of his adult life, after he got off this very long plane ride, experienced what is called an aortic dissection, and that has been backed up by several medical experts.
Great. I think you're wrong. It's Putin. And if it's not Putin, it could very easily be having to do with his recent, saber rattling in defense of Israel. He's no friend of Iran either. And we know that Iran has ratcheted up their involvement, or at least their side of the peace deal, Iran. So look, I just think that this is a little bit too unexpected. 71 is not young, but Mitch McConnell's 105, and he's the senator that we expected to be dead on Monday. But no, it's Lindsey Graham instead. It's a little bit all too weird.
Truly. It's certainly unexpected, like I said, and what you're talking about is a way funner take, and I'm willing to go with you on it for just simply the comedic relief of it. I mean, like
comedy. There's nothing funny about Vladimir Putin killing people willy-nilly, and him being as desperate as he is right now, willing to do an attack on an American statesman, the most influential anti-Putin voice in Donald Trump's ear. I don't think it's crazy. And Maddie, I certainly don't think it's funny. How dare you?
Oh my goodness. Okay, well,
All right, give me more on Lindsey.
Jones, I'm sure we're going to hear all kinds of speculation about this in the next coming days. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Give me more on Lindsey. I know you're loaded for bear. Talk about his legacy. You're the one. Yes, you should be the one talking about his legacy. Go, because he's an interesting guy. First of all, reading up on him over the weekend, because I think that he's always, or at least for the last 20-something years, been a constant presence in right conservative politics. I don't really know anything about his background or anything like that. It is true his father died at a very young age of a cardiac issue, so he does have a genetic line to that. He raised his sister. I think I knew that. What I didn't know is that he was awarded a Bronze Star. That he
was in the Air Force.
Yeah, he's a Bronze Star recipient. And he received this in 2019 after he'd been a senator for a bunch of years. Would it be interesting to you to know that he is the only Bronze Star recipient who has never been deployed for combat? He got it for being a good lawyer and defending things.
Oh my God. No, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, God knows. We live in bizarro world right now.
He was gifted a Bronze Star, the first ever Judge Advocate General guy. He worked in he never deployed. He was never in combat. He just worked on legal issues from Germany and then, stateside. And because he became this influential, powerful senator, they decided to make an exception and give him a Bronze Star, something we're supposed to give heroes. He got it for being a good lawyer. Ugh.
Yeah, not surprising, not surprising at all. But so some of the stuff that I covered didn't necessarily have to do with his maybe what you would paint as positive legacy. My coverage of Lindsey Graham was quite different because my opinion of Lindsey Graham is obviously not very good. And if there has ever been a time when our country has ever thought about invading or conquering or even setting foot on some other country in an effort to either go in and affect some sort of regime change, well, every single fucking time there's been a Lindsey Graham that's been willing to pop up on CNN or Fox News and not only endorse this action but want to do more war, because he wants to bomb the fuck out of everybody, nuke everybody, fuck everybody. So, he's a war hawk and he's a bloodthirsty son of a bitch. And also, I pointed out, because I think a lot of people forget this, that one of Lindsey Graham's best friends used to be, before he passed away, Senator John McCain. And I don't think that people remember how savagely Donald J. Trump fucking talked about John McCain and called him a loser, and how he doesn't like his war heroes getting captured by the people and being prisoners of war, and how that was loser behavior and
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And, and Lindsey Graham was very not supportive of Trump back before he was running for office in T1, and came out and said that he was a kook, literally said kook on CNN. I think he's a kook because, his buddy was running for office back then too. And then the minute that he took office, everything changed. And I'm like, is that really homeboy behavior? Like, John McCain is your good best friend, your bestie, right? And this guy was sitting all over the place talking mad shit about him. And so now you're just going to fucking align with him. Why? Because you love to be power adjacent. And if that guy's in office, and you don't give a fuck what he says about your best friend. So yeah, that's kind of what I covered on my stream. Just saying.
Lindsey on Trump. He's a race baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my Republican Party. I don't think he has a clue about anything. He is empowering radical Islam. You know how you make America great again. Tell Donald Trump to go to hell, Graham added.
Yep.
I'd rather lose without Donald Trump than try to win with him. Graham then said in May of 2016, if we nominate Trump, we will get destroyed and we will have deserved it. In June of 2016, after Trump criticized a judge of Mexican heritage, implying that he could be biased, Graham said to CNN, I don't think Trump is racist, but he's playing the race card. I think it's very un-American. If he continues this line of attack, then I think people really need to reconsider the future of the Republican Party. Graham then told the New York Times that that incident, quote, is probably it for anyone looking to withdraw their support of Trump. There'll come a time when the love of country will trump hatred of Hillary Clinton, Graham said. Then he completely flipped and became one of Donald Trump's best friends. Donald Trump gave out Lindsey Graham's phone number during the 2026 election campaign, and it was thought of at the time to be the absolute, it crossed the line. Lindsey, for some, look, he's a blue collar kid. He grew up working class. He was faced with tragedy as a young man when both of his parents were killed, and he had to raise his 13-year-old sister. Dedicated his life to the military, got a bunch of degrees. He's a smart guy, went to college, got the degrees, worked in the military as a lawyer, not as a combatant, but as a lawyer, and then got into local politics. He's never started a business, right? Isn't that always a criticism that Republicans throw at Democrats? He's never built a business. He was a lifelong political guy from the
Career
state.
politics.
Yeah, from
Absolutely.
the state house. But he came from a place where I think he would have shown more empathy for people, but he didn't, because very early on with his politics, he betrayed that blue collar, that struggling to raise a sister after your parents died, that life experience. He betrayed it for just, the defense contractor money and the Israeli lobby and all of the things that bolstered him up and made him a national presence. So when he reversed course and suddenly became one of the biggest Trump advocates after all of the things that I told you he'd said in 2016. It was just par for the course. Lindsey Graham was a fraud. He was a career politician who is everything that I think both sides can agree on is wrong with the American political system. And I'll say what I say often. Terrible people die every day too. We don't have to act like the world has lost Elvis. That's all I got on
For
Lindsey
sure.
Graham.
For sure. And, and I find it really, really, really interesting too, that, when I was listening to Trump, because he called in to meet the press yesterday, he of course, oh, we were best friends, we were very close and blah, 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 blah. But of course, he couldn't not make it about himself to some degree. So, his good friend just passed. And of course, he immediately had to put a plug in there about the SAVE Act. And he obviously had already managed to consider who he would call the governor of that state to suggest who should sit in his seat. And I also saw some stuff, and I covered that yesterday too, that of course Nancy Mace was super quick to fucking throw her name out there, but prayers for the family, prayers for the family. But what's that?
No, I was just laughing. Yeah, Nancy Mace, not a chance in hell. It's it sounds like Trump is advocating for his sister.
You just came in 5th out of 5 in a gubernatorial race, and you weren't endorsed by Trump then. What makes you think that all of a sudden he's going to change his mind about you now? But anyway, she was very quick to, everybody's talking about, oh, don't dance on his grave. Is that not dancing on the man's grave? Yeah. Like y'all two were both ready to jump in his seat, and it wasn't even cold yet. But yes, and so at the time during the interview, he wouldn't tell the interviewer, who he had in mind. But yes, he has now since come out and stated that he believes that Lindsey Graham's sister, Darlene, would be the perfect person to carry on Lindsey Graham's legacy. Yeah. Because he has that decision making, right?
Well, he has influence, he thinks, over the governor. We'll see.
But
Barney,
help me understand what qualifications she has to carry that seat.
No, not a clue. What qualifications does anybody who runs what qualifications does President Trump have to be president of the United States?
Well, truly, but that's not a thing anymore, he does have is that he was elected to that position. Right. So a populace believed that he could do it. This woman is just going to get the grace of the fact that she's his only living relative, and therefore by default she deserves it. Meantime, there are other politicians who actually reside in the state of South Carolina who probably could fill that seat more effectively, at least until January. This is not something she's going to sit in for like 2 weeks, like just go check some emails and make sure that there's somebody answering the phone in the fucking office. This lasts until January.
Okay. But this happens all the time. You know this. I mean, a congressman will drop dead, and then suddenly his wife is now the new congressman. It's happened at, fairly high level. Didn't somebody was it, let's see here. Mary Bono. Look at that. Sonny Bono drops dead. He's a congressman there from California. Mary Bono is named. She would go on to have a big, it happens all the time. I'm looking at a list of at least 20 here that AI just spit out of wives and children who have been appointed. So it happens all the time. I get why you're upset. It shouldn't. People should be qualified, but that ship has sailed, man. We got a game show host as president.
What did Barney say? I'm not in that chat.
Yeah, Barney's in the chat. Barney says Lindsey, when I mentioned that Lindsey was, highly paid by, or I shouldn't say paid, influenced by lobbies that would keep him in the good graces of, Israel in the gun lobby and all that. Mm-hmm. He says Lindsey was a war hawk, but apparently just for the love of the game, according to his net worth. Yeah, his net worth is listed here. I cross-checked it a couple of times, anywhere between 1.5 and 3 million. So that's at least what they can find. I imagine Lindsey's got stuff stashed, bungholed, if you will.
Is that a gay slur? Because I certainly did cover that in my chat, in my stream too, that, there's been a lot of rabble rousing going on because people are saying that, now that this man is passed, that the NDAs are expired, which isn't necessarily the legal definition of how an NDA works. But here's the thing, if people believe that, then we might start seeing some really interesting commentary about some things that he's done with some, how do I put this, young gay male sex workers in and around South Carolina. So I guess
why do you need to know that? See what this talk about just feeding frenzy and having fun. I don't give Lindsey Graham was gay. It's obvious to me that he was gay, right? So now what? Now
I think that the reason why people do care about that is because, he was in the closet, and it's not that he was in the closet. The reason why people care about it is that because he led the charge in a ton of anti-LGBTQ legislation. So he worked against the very people that he was more than willing to hook up with and pay for sex.
See, where do you get that from? Because that was one of the things that I looked into this morning, and all I could find was that he twice in the 90s voted against the Respect for Marriage Act, or he voted with the people who didn't want to make gay marriage legal twice. But that's all I got. I don't have anything where he's leading the charge against all these things. He just voted in a pack with the rest of the Republicans.
And I would, if I was a gay male and I wanted to be able to be legally married in this country, that would be enough.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I was interested to find out if he was vocally anti-gay throughout it, and he really wasn't. There's no speeches there where he's like, we've got to end pride. He didn't come out and defend the ball players who wrote biblical men. I was looking for stuff like that because it is interesting to me how this guy, I believe he was leading a double life. I believe he had his gay life and whatever it is, and I hope that he found happiness there. No, not really, because he's a piece of shit. Why? That was programming when I just said that. I said that because I thought that's what you're supposed to say. But I've already said that Lindsey Graham is a bad guy. So if he died lonely and heartbroken, good. I don't care. But I also don't care now about revealing all these deep secrets. I always figured he was gay, and I think most people did.
There's been some stuff that's already come out. It's just being reinforced now. People are being reminded of it. Like, hey, remember that time that somebody said that he, did this with this gay sex worker, and then, one of them came out over the weekend and reminded everybody, about basically what he did was, which I read it on air, was he wrote an Instagram post that he entitled a eulogy for what did he say? Something hypocrite, homophobe hypocrite, and detailed, very extensively about how this man had paid him a lot of money over the years, and yet, what I said, same thing, that he was he at the same time, even though he was technically part of that community, that he also didn't uphold the freedoms or the civil rights of said community. So the gays have their opinion on this, and I have no dog in that fight to tell them that they shouldn't feel the way that they feel.
Lindsey Graham is a guy who accepted a Bronze Star when he was just a paper pusher as a judge, a JAG officer there in the Air Force. He then went and trashed President Trump to anyone that would hear him until he had a private meeting with Trump, and he was offered all kinds of things should Trump win. He was granted foreign policy influence that nobody had ever granted him before, certainly not with Biden or Obama, but he sold out again. He sold everything out, everything that he believed. His initial reaction,
sold out his friend.
Yes, his initial reaction to Trump in 2016 was the same one we all had. This dude's a fucking douchebag. And then he meets with Trump because Trump understands that he is a very effective legislator, especially in the Senate, and Trump could probably get more done with Lindsey than without Lindsey. So they have a meeting, and suddenly Lindsey comes out of the meeting and he's like pro-Trump. He has no principles. He lived his life in the closet. He's a fraud. He was a war hawk. He didn't seem to care about anybody other than himself. He wasn't particularly strong for South Carolina. He was a national politician. So fuck this guy. That's what I say. But we're all going to die. So, if anybody's offended by what you're hearing me say about Lindsey Graham, a bad guy, I'll be dead soon and you'll have your shot.
That's what I kind of said too, because,
Mhm.
immediately Pierce Morgan came out and was like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but that how despicable it was that, people are dancing on his grave, and that the woke left, who are supposed to be the party of kind, are all, doing what they're doing. And I'm like, fuck off, Pierce. Like, nobody
No.
gives a shit what you have to say. And as a person who acknowledges that people have lived experiences, I don't know specifically if anybody who was celebrating the untimely passing of Lindsey Graham was directly affected by anything that Lindsey Graham actually did. And if they were, then they have every right to express their opinion and how they feel about it.
So, like, I think, like, obviously we have the situation with Trump and Mueller, where Trump was like, "God, I'm glad he's
Mhm.
dead," and
And
then,
the Reiners.
and the Reiners, right? So they do it, and the right, the Trump, the MAGA, they celebrate it, and then people on the left who were appalled by those tweets, when they now seem to end zone dance with Lindsey Graham, you see that's just hypocrisy. So I tweeted something uh, the other day. I'm not going to tweet anything about Lindsey Graham that's like negative. Why? Why? It's stupid. But here in this situation, you and I are having a conversation. So you asked me, what are my thoughts on Lindsey Graham? So I'm giving you my thoughts on Lindsey Graham. I don't think we have to be publicly ignorant and gross and post things and put our names to it.
And I didn't either.
Well, I think that if you were upset about the way Trump treated the Mueller death, you have no standing to now go, I'm glad Lindsey's dead. You were either upset by that level of base humanity, or you were just upset because it was one of your guys that they were saying it about. And that's what's wrong with this country. Everything is either my guy versus your guy. We're
Yeah.
you know
No,
how I feel.
I certainly didn't post anything about good riddance or good or anything like that. Like I said, I covered my thoughts about it on my stream. And I just kind of left it hanging with Pierce as saying, like, first of all, nobody gives a shit about what you think, and just what I said. And that if somebody out there is saying something because they had a lived experience that in some way their life was negatively impacted by something that Lindsey has done in his whatever 23 years, it's some significant. I mean, he's been a senator for a long time.
Yeah.
Then they have every right to express their whatever they want to express. If because of the fact that he sat there and voted for every single time that we would maybe go over and invade another country, and those people's daughter or son went over there and got hurt or killed or anything like that, and those people now said, good, I'm glad he's gone, well, that's their right to say so.
All right, Barney in the chat room, the conversation about the Bronze Star. Barney says the Bronze Star is a no-win situation we're talking about Lindsey Graham and how I think that he should have turned down someone trying to award him a Bronze Star for being a lawyer. He says the Bronze Star is a no-win situation. You accept it, and it's stolen valor. Turn it down, and you're John Heinz Kerry. No, you're not, Barney, because John Heinz Kerry turned it down specifically because of his positions about the war with Vietnam. Lindsey Graham would have earned valor and honor by turning it down because he didn't feel worthy. You see, there are different situations here. How can you see it as the same? If Lindsey Graham had said, my God, am I honored to even be thought of in this world of Bronze Star recipients, but I was just a JAG lawyer. I would not want to disgrace the others who earn. That's how he could have done it, Barney. Don't tell me he was going to be, an anti-American guy who doesn't want. No nuance. Can we stop being stupid? It was nothing like the John Kerry. John Kerry performatively gave back his medals to further his political career. This would have been different. This would have been a self-sacrifice. This would have been humility on Lindsey Graham's part. Anyway, that's how I feel.
Yeah. So any thoughts on the fact that within hours of this happening, all of a sudden there were some pictures circulating around social media for the Mitch McConnell quote unquote proof of life that now people are picking apart, of course, and calling manufactured to some degree. I haven't seen anybody saying that the whole picture is AI, but what I have seen people saying, which seems kind of credible to me, I haven't dived into it. I'm not saying it is or isn't. Let's put this out there. there, but that it appears that the picture could have come from a time whenever Mitch McConnell was in some sort of rehabilitation facility back in 2023, and that the only thing that was doctored, because I remember I texted you asking you if you could help me figure out who that baseball jersey was, because on the front page of that newspaper that seems tucked under his finger, that it was obviously to show like the date or relevance. And I did locate that page. It was the front page of the sports section of the Washington Post, dated yesterday. But I did find where that same picture was him. And if you notice how his hand is positioned, his hand was kind of on the button of like something on the chair of that bed or whatever. And it seems like that might have been manipulated.
All right. We're looking at it right now. His right hand seems to be on a newspaper. He seems to be maybe pointing like a hostage. This is like a hostage video. His left hand is on his lap. I don't see the button. It's his wife, Elaine Cho, is standing there next to him. Here's the thing. If this is their proof of life, this is really stupid. This makes it even more hard to believe that he's still alive or in any sort of lucid condition. Because why would they do this? Why would they send something out that would obviously be, well, where's the video? They know it's 2026. They could just as easily have made a little video that would show us him being animated, him actually being alive. This only makes the question of what's going on and is there a cover-up more legitimate. This is a stupid, release a picture. You knew people were going to say, we want video. Why not just release the fucking video? It's so weird. Just
well, and then they put out a long like statement, like quote unquote, like Mitch had actually written it himself, and that I completely don't believe at all.
No.
Because I think for sure it's his staffers. And it said, it was very long, and it goes on to say, like how he can't wait to get back to work, but he's going to still be out for a few more weeks. And to date, I think as of yesterday, he'd been gone for 28 days. And they say in his statement that he says that the reason why he went to the hospital and has now been in this hospital or this rehabilitation facility or whatever lie they're trying to say today, was because he had a simple fall in his home. That he didn't break any bones.
That was one of the other things we saw over the weekend. We finally received 911 audio and video of the ambulance. This was 2 weeks ago. This is
well, according to these words, this is what they're saying. They said that the reason why he had to go to the hospital was because he had a simple fall, that the simple fall did not result in any broken bones or hematomas or anything like that. And that unfortunately, during his short stay there, he had a brief, mild bout of pneumonia. That's what they said. Now, he's been in the hospital now for 30 days. And even in this picture, if we are to assume any part of this picture is accurate, this man has been in the hospital for 30 days. He's not hooked up to any sort of monitors. He's not hooked up to any IVs, giving him fluid drips, even nothing. Like, I don't believe it's all AI generated. But I am tending to believe here that this is an older photo that's been doctored with this little piece of a paper poking out the side, so people would then scurry to the interwebs, which I did. I'm guilty, to figure out which day that paper came from, and I did confirm that it was the front page of the sports section of the Washington Post that was running an article about the Aggies, the Augies, some I think is a minor league, not a major league MLB team. I'm not sure. I'm not a baseball person. That's why I asked you for feedback. You didn't give it to me. That's okay. But I don't buy any of it. I don't buy any of it. And it completely evades the entire other part of this problem, which is that this man is 84 fucking years old.
Making major decisions for the rest of us and our children.
And we have witnessed him withering away, being propped up in the middle of Senate hearings and committee meetings, and where his staff have to lean over to him and loudly yell in one ear going, "Hey, you forgot to take another vote. you shouldn't have done that. Like,
No,
it
he's being
doesn't
controlled.
matter to me if the man has in a coma or not. He needs to step down. I don't think even if he is not in a coma at this point, that he's fully capable of carrying out the duties of being a sitting senator.
No, he's not. He's whatever it is. He should have stepped down a long time ago. He shouldn't have ran the last time that he ran, let alone, still be somebody who's relevant to the United States Senate. As far as the picture we're looking at is concerned, you had some suspect questions about it. Well, AI and imaging experts have analyzed the photos, metadata, and visual composition, concluding that the image is real. Experts highlighted organic details that AI typically fails to replicate accurately or purposefully include, such as the natural rectangular catch lights in the reflection of his eyes, asymmetrical facial features, a buttoned cuff bandage, and localized bruising on his hand, consistent with a prolonged hospital stay. So there seems to be a consensus with AI confirmation people that the picture is, at the very least, a real picture. When it was taken, we don't know.
That's the part. Like I said, I think it's a real picture. Them hands have looked like that for a long time. So, just like Trump's hands, the back of Trump's hand always has some kind of a bruise on it. He said over and over again, oh, it's because I knocked my hand, or oh, it's because I take aspirin and it makes my, my blood thin, or whatever.
Let me tell you something. Hold on. Let me tell you something firsthand. My mother has been through a lot the last few months. Her hands look a lot worse than his do there in that picture. And, she's been out of the hospital now for over a month, but her extended hospital stay, her hands are still completely jacked up. This guy's, that's the first thing I looked for, was this guy's, he's older than my mother. I looked at his hands. His hands look great compared to my mother's. So
and especially after a 30-day hospital stay,
right.
Like, come on. I didn't buy the fact that this picture was from recent. I didn't have benefit of this new information while I was doing my stream last night. That kind of came up either while I was on the air or directly afterwards, because I knew the internet sleuths were going to get to the bottom of this. And then there was somebody that put out something pretty credible that looked like a picture from 2023, and then this same picture, and it looked pretty much staged almost identically, with the only addition being the paper that seems to have been tucked underneath his hand.
He's probably smart enough and has smart enough people around him that they may have, like, months ago, staged these pictures just in case they need them. Like when he was perfectly healthy and all of that. Get in the bed. Let's go down to the hospital. I mean, I trust nothing coming out of any of these people. And it's not political or partisan. It's right and left. I think they are all constantly trying to sell us something. All right, let's wrap this up. This has been going on for almost an hour here. Maddie, what's the schedule with your Twitch show? What are you doing here? Tell people. I still don't know how to tell people to come and check me out when I'm with you, or just check you out in general. Tell people about what you're doing.
So I stream on right now. My schedule is Sunday nights and Tuesday nights, and I start around 7:30. I usually go about 3 hours, and we cover a variety of topics. Like I said, so last night I covered, obviously the Lindsey Graham thing was hot, had just happened. So I went into my Lindsey stuff. I talked about Mitch McConnell quite a bit. I also covered some interesting Kim Paxton stuff and some James Tallarico stuff. I don't know if you caught some of that story, but if you want to talk about that, we can certainly do it. And then I did want to close out with saying that over the weekend I watched Citizen Vigilante, and I had some takes about that. Not so much the political aspects of it, but just more so in the vein of, is it art or not art? And what my takeaways were about, Army and my opinions on him, but also kind of threw out there that, if we were going to give somebody a comeback story and bring them back from cancel world, and I had to choose between two creepy dudes, the one that I would choose is Kevin Spacey and not this guy.
All right, I happen to love Spacey. I would choose Spacey as well.
If we're gonna give some creepy fuck a second chance, let's give it to Spacey, because at least he's talented.
Yeah, well, I don't know that it works that way, but okay. All right, we'll have to get into that at a later date, because I imagine that we had different. We should do like a Siskel and Ebert thing where we discuss both of our takes on Citizen Vigilante. Maybe we'll do that on your show. Maybe we'll do that next time we have you here. All right, thank you, Maddie. Appreciate you.
All right, sounds good. Y'all have a good one.
There she goes. That's Maddie. She hangs out with me from time to time because I like talking to her. Mama B says, I agree. The possibility of murder is there. We're talking about Lindsey. I think he was silenced. I think Putin knows that all he's got to do is get Trump on the phone. Putin can control Trump. We've seen it. But suddenly Lindsey over the past couple of months is now in his ear. And Lindsey's a lot smarter. Putin and Lindsey, that's a couple of apex predators there. So I think that's the problem. I think that, Trump has distanced himself from Putin ever since the rise of influence with Lindsey Graham. Everything that Trump has done that the MAGA Republicans are angry about, whether it's, suddenly softening the stance on Ukraine to an actual war against Iran, that, he ran on no new wars, to, the seamless kowtowing to everything that Israel wants over the past few months. Those are all directly related to what Lindsey Graham wants. So if I'm Putin and I'm feeling very desperate because the war is not going well. I mean, if I'm Putin and I see last week Trump and Zelensky hanging out and Trump now saying that he's willing to send missiles in defense of Ukraine, something that he never really said before. I thought it was interesting that he's using defensive. Well, I think that we need to send American defensive missiles to Ukraine. Well, that's all we ever wanted. That's what. Anyway, Putin's probably upset. And look at this. At the same time, you got Lindsey Graham over there in the Ukraine. Do I know how Putin would have targeted or killed Lindsey so that he would have a heart attack in his kitchen 24 hours later? I got no clue. But I bet you that Putin's got a bunch of highly paid scientists and, monstrous dudes who probably could figure that out. I don't know. Slip something in a drink at some point there while he's in Ukraine, and it's time to I don't know. But what I do know is that I believe that Vladimir Putin routinely engages in murder of critics and opponents. And I believe that we have never seen Vladimir Putin more desperate than he is now. I also know that Lindsey Graham's influence over Trump has been detrimental to Putin these past 6 months. That's why I think we can't rule out a connection between the sudden death of Lindsey Graham and Vladimir Putin. But also, I mean, he may have also been a target of Iran, because Trump, now we're ratcheting up to what is probably going to be the series finale of Iran. Trump is probably finally at some point over the next couple of months going to do that. We're going to blow up everything. We're going to flatten them. He's been threatening that for a while. So at some point he's going to have nothing left but to do that. And that's Lindsey Graham. I had Lindsey Graham pushing Trump to just, whip ass there in Iran. So I don't know. The fact that dude dies suddenly, a dude who has had more influence over two of the most troubling global situations, more influence than any single person that I can name, more influenced with the president, with Ukraine and Iran. Name somebody who was more important. You can't. And he dropped dead suddenly. So whatever. Yeah, aortic distortion or whatever. I just think that there's a better than average chance that something else is going on here. Powerful people are extremely desperate. Mama B says that she also believes that Trump's first wife, Ivana? Whoa. Which one is the daughter? That's Ivanka, right? But before there was an Ivanka, we all knew Ivana. It was Ivana Trump. Mama B says that she believes Trump's first wife was murdered falling down the stairs. I've heard that. She could have been trouble. I got to look into this. This is a good one, Mama B. How early in his first term did she die? Because they might have pegged her as a problem. Look at what we're doing here. All right. Boom. Ivana was 73, Barney, the eternal defender of Trump and all things MAGA says. Ivana was 73. Old ladies fall downstairs all the time. That's why those lift chairs exist. Dude, 73 is not lift chair, man. I'm sorry. Come on, Barney. 73 is not lift chair. Not in 2026. 83 is. 83 is lift chair. But yeah, I don't know. Did she get pushed? Whatever. Did Trump send somebody in there to loosen a stair? So he stepped on it and she fell. I don't know. Actually, I've never even looked into the death of Ivana Trump. But I bet having her gone was not bad for Donald, because he was probably always worried about his first wife breaking bad on him publicly. We'll see. Here's the problem. I don't put anything past this guy. I think he's a monster. I think he's a monster, and I put nothing past him. All right. Mama B, she's fighting with Barney now. I'm 77. I go downstairs carefully. I also hold on to the rail. All right. Let's see. Oh, here's something that we need to do here before we sign off for today. It's been a big show. I want to we got to do the death trilogies. Guys, we got to do the death trilogies. I know I don't like to do them this often. We just did it, I think, on Thursday or maybe Wednesday of last week, and now here we are again on a Monday. We've got to update the celebrity death trilogies. Here's how it works. Starting on January 1st every year, I start compiling celebrities as they die. Why do I do this? Because I believe that celebrities, when they die, they go to a special place. They go to celebrity heaven. Now, it's not as incredible as maybe the life they have down here, because God's kind of cool. God makes celebrities live in a gated community on a golf course in 3-bedroom townhomes for the rest of their lives. They have to live together, and that's why celebrities die in threes. So every time a celebrity falls into the celebrity death trilogy, you can think they're going to live together forever. And I've been compiling these lists for years and years. I should put out a book. I really should. Anyway, let's update the celebrity death trilogy for 2026. Here, I got to pull it up because we've had a big one. I know we were talking about Lindsey Graham. You'd think that's the big one. That is not the big one. Hold on. I gotta pull all this stuff up, figure out where we are. Give me a second. Everything's taking so long. Come on. All right, there we are. Yes. Okay, so where are we? We are well, the last time that we discussed the death trilogy, it was for Bonnie Tyler. Bonnie Tyler died on the 8th day of July. Bonnie Tyler, total eclipse of the heart. We did a nice little thing for her. Bonnie Tyler, 75-year-old Welsh singer. She died on the 8th day of July. 2 days prior to her, though, Louise Lasser. We talked about her. Mary Hartman, 87-year-old American actress. She died first. She began the 24th death trilogy of 2026. Louise Lasser on the 6th day of July, 2026, followed by Bonnie Tyler on the 8th day of July, 2026. And they rounded out later on the 8th. That's right. Same day as Bonnie Tyler. We didn't pay any attention to this. Hell, I didn't find out about this until a couple of days later. Wally Funk, 87. She died. Wally Funk. Who's Wally Funk? Wally Funk is that cool old lady who was an astronaut. She's an 87-year-old astronaut. She's an American aviator. She was a groundbreaking female pilot, and they sent her to space on the Jeff Bezos thing. Wally, cool documentary about her. I think it's on Prime. I watched. Wally Funk finishes up the 24th all-female, by the way. Yeah, Wally, female. I'm Wallinda. I don't know what her name would be. All-female 24th death trilogy. Louise Lasser, Mary Hartman. Bonnie Tyler, total eclipse of the heart, Bonnie Tyler. And Wally Funk, female astronaut, groundbreaking American aviator. That's 24. Now, do we have a fully completed 25? Because we're going to talk about who died today, the latest here in a second, but we got to get caught up. Guys, on the 9th, to begin the 25th celebrity death trilogy of the year 2026, we lost Randolph Mantooth. Randolph Mantooth. If you're a man of a certain age, you remember Johnny Gage from Emergency. Or do you call it Emergency One? I think in syndication, they retitled it Emergency One. Do you guys remember Emergency? It was like Chips, but with fires. It was the same damn thing. It was two guys One was kind of ethnic with dark hair. The other guy was blonde, all American. And they did things together professionally. That was Emergency. Same thing as, seriously, it was very similar to Chips, except they were firemen. And it had that alarm. Right? I was like 8, 9 years old. I'd be watching TV, and then you'd hear the engine 51, engine. Oh, it was so cool. We got so excited. We didn't have TikTok or YouTube. The thing that got our dopamine going was anyway, Randolph Mantooth, hero of my childhood. Cool ass name, right? Kinda sounds kind of gay. Sounds kind of gay, got to be honest with you. But at 8 or 9 years old, Randolph Mantooth was like a cool name. All right, Randolph Mantooth, he died. Who's joining him? Well, somebody who's probably very interested in the origins of that name, Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, dead on the 11th day of July. He joins Randolph Mantooth. You know Lindsey would be totally hot for Randolph Mantooth. He was, how old was Lindsey? 71. Randolph Mantooth is 9 years older. Okay, all right. Randolph Mantooth and Lindsey Graham living forever in their little 3-bedroom townhouse on a gated golf community in celebrity heaven. Who's going to join them? Well, today we had a big one, man. This one kind of sucks. Hold on. Do I have... how do we not have... Sorry, I thought I prepared this, but I didn't. I hate this for us. I hate this for us collectively because I like this dude. I've already told you about it. Ladies and gentlemen, joining Randolph Mantooth and Lindsey Graham in the celebrity 3-bedroom condo there, it's Sam Neill. That's right. Look at him from Jurassic Park. Sam Neill from, was he from Peaky Blinders too? Yeah, I think he was in Peaky Blinders. Sam Neill from Damien the Omen, Final Conflict. That's right. When Damien the Omen grew up, he became president of the United States. It was Sam Neill, one of Sam Neill's first roles. Sam Neill is a great actor, and I think he's one of these actors that we tend to forget about until a moment like this where he passes away, and then we're all like, oh, Sam Neill, we should check out his... Or where is his, hold on, let me get close some of these things. The trilogies, I don't think we need that anymore. Sam Neill, we don't necessarily need that. There's the nice picture. Hold on, guys, I'm sorry. I got a whole bunch of shit here. Bunch of stuff open. Let's learn about Sam Neill. Nope, that's not. Hold on. It's not. All right, never mind. No, not never mind. Never mind. I mean, I'm just... I got too many things open here. I'm a little confused about what we're looking at. Are we still looking at Sam Neill? Holy fuck. You got to be fucking kidding me. Hold on, guys. Hold on. This is so weird. Sorry. Fuck. There we go. All right. Now we're ready. All right. Let's learn a little about Sam Neill. Is that him? This is a weird picture of him. Okay, so I'm going through his... I wanted to do a quick little Sam Neill draft where we take a look at his filmography and then we decide which is his best. Look at this picture. Hold on. Look at this picture of him. This is the Wikipedia picture. Now, we just saw a picture of him from Jurassic Park. That's the Sam Neill we all recognize. Who's this guy? This doesn't look like him. Does it? Is there more than one Sam Neill? Is there more than one actor Sam Neill? Because, you know, this is the Sam Neill that I choose to remember, not the guy that they've got there on Wikipedia. Okay, let's go through his list of films. One more time. All right, let's look at his filmography. Sam Neill. All right. Started acting. He's a New Zealand actor. All right. It says here, Sam Neill was a New Zealand actor whose career in film and television spanned nearly 5 decades. He made his screen debut in the New Zealand television series The City of No back in 1971. He subsequently appeared in the short films Nobody Cares, Nobody Cares, and Nobody Cares. He made his feature film debut in Sleeping Dogs, 1977. So I always thought that The Omen Final Conflict was his first film, but apparently that's just the first film that made him famous. But 77, Sleeping Dogs was his first film. He went on to appear in films including My Brilliant Career, The Omen 3, The Final Conflict. That's where I first discovered Sam Neill. Freaked me the head out. Dead Calm in 1989, The Hunt for Red October in 1990, The Piano in 93, Jurassic Park in 93. Oh my God, holy crap. He was in a bunch of things that I saw. Neill also had an extensive television career with roles in series, miniseries, and television films, including Merlin, The Tudors, Alcatraz, Peaky MFN Blinders. He was so good in Peaky MFN Blinders. It's just Peaky Blinders. He played a rogue, a brutal Northern Irish investigator who was sent by the Crown in London to break up the Peaky Blinders gang. Oh, he was brutal. Let's see here. What else has he been? During his career, he received multiple nominations, 3 Golden Globes, 2 Primetime Emmys, and 2 British Academy of Television Awards. Neill was regarded as one of New Zealand's most prominent actors and was noted for the breadth of his work across film and television. He died on July the 13th in Sydney, Australia at the age of 78. All right, let's look at some... let's do a draft. I'm seriously, now he made a lot of movies that let me see here. All right, this is what we're gonna do. First off the board in the Sam Neill, who died today. By the way, Sam Neill joins Randolph Mantooth, fellow actor, and Lindsey Graham for all eternity. That's the Death Trilogy. First pick off the board for Sam Neill. We are gonna go with How Can I Do Anything But? Hunt for Red October. That's right. I love that movie. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. I love submarine movies. So Hunt for Red October is definitely one of my favorites. Have you guys ever seen Run Silent, Run Deep? That's my favorite submarine movie. Run Silent, Run Deep. Don Rickles. Yeah. Don Rickles in a dramatic role, no less. All right, number 1. Sam Neill died today. Number 1 in the Sam Neill draft, we're going to go with The Hunt for Red October. All right, let's see. Number 2. What are we looking for here? Number 2. It's a really good movie. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it. Have you guys ever seen from like the late 80s? Number 2, Dead Calm. Nicole Kidman. I want to say it was like Nicole Kidman's first movie, or at least one of the first movies that I remember. She was still an Australian actress. Dead Calm, starring, of course, Nicole Kidman, as I just said. Billy Zane also. Anyway, that's number 2. So number 1 in the Sam Neill draft, we're going Hunt for Red October. Number 2, we're going to go Dead Calm. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? At some point, Jurassic Park's going to be thrown in there, right? At some point, I guess. All right. We'll do it at 5. We did 5 was Hunt for Red October. Number 4 was Dead Calm. Number 3 is The Omen, Final Conflict. I loved that movie. I loved all the Omen movies. And Sam Neill, back in around 1981, he played the grown-up Damien Thorne from the Omen movies. He became president. The Omen, Final Conflict. Number 3? Wait, no. So if Hunt for Red October is 1, number 2 is Dead Calm, number 3 is The Omen, Final Conflict. All right. Number 4th movie here in the... Sorry, I'm a little distracted. Trying to see if that was anything. Sam Neill, we got 4 more. There's so many. And I'm doing this. I'm free balling this. All right, we're going to do it. Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, the original. I'm not going to use a whole bunch of Jurassic Parks. We'll just go with the original Jurassic Park, number 4, the number 4 pick in the Sam Neill draft. All right, number 5. Number 1, of course, let's recap. The first pick off the board is Hunt for Red October. Number 2 off the board is Dead Calm. Number 3 off the board is Final Conflict, the Omen series. Number 4 off the board is Jurassic Park. Number 5, the last one. All right, I'm going to do it just because it was a super hot movie. We're going to go with Sirens from 1993. Do you guys remember the movie Sirens? Hold on. Sam Neill, he played like a, or actually, was it Hugh Grant and Sam Neill was his partner or something, or his buddy, whatever. I don't know. It had a whole bunch of really hot girls. It was about a dude who surrounded himself with super hot girls, and it was full frontal nudity from Elle Macpherson. That's the only reason I remember Sirens. Honestly, I don't even remember what it's about. I just remember it was Elle Macpherson, a young Portia de Rossi, and some other hot chick who never made it famous. But full frontal nudity from both of those in the film Sirens, and that's why it comes in number 5 on my Sam Neill draft. Number 1, we'll do it again. Number 1, Hunt for Red October. It doesn't get much better than that. That is a perfect film. Not the best submarine movie, though. I truly do think that Run Silent, Run Deep is better. But Hunt for Red October, great film. Number 2 is Dead Calm. See it. Nicole Kidman. She bursts on the scene. You're like, who's that hot chick? Number 3, The Omen. Final Conflict. Sam Neill plays a grown-up Damien Thorne. Number 4, Jurassic Park. It's really a pick 'em, but the first one. Let's go Sam Neill, Jurassic Park. So we're seeing him right here. And then number 5, Sirens with Hugh Grant, but forget about him. It's more about naked Elle Macpherson. That's number 5. And that concludes. Yeah, Kevin knows. He was super, super scary. He was freaky. He was totally freaky. And we'd never seen him before. At least I didn't. When he played grown-up Damien Thorne. And he looked like a grown-up Damien Thorne. In fact, I always thought that he was the perfect person to play a grown-up Damien Thorne until I saw what Ben Shapiro looks like. You ever seen Ben Shapiro? That's a grown-up Damien Thorne. That's what Damien Thorne looks like all grows up. Anyway, Sam Neill was cool, man. He was really cool. I liked him in everything. Peaky Blinders, he was great. I can't really think of him from any other TV shows, but he's one of those actors who just worked constantly, and he's always popping up in things, and you're like, Sam Neill's in this. All right, cool. Is Dead Calm the one with men? Dead Calm's hot. That's all you need to remember. He wasn't afraid to do hot movie. Yes, Event Horizon. Event Horizon was also good. Sam Neill. All right. I was looking through the list, like there were no bad movies. Like maybe there were movies like The Piano. Like The Piano was, but they didn't do like any stupid movie. Like he wasn't in Dude, Where's My Car 2, They were all fairly worthy films. He's a legitimate actor. The great Sam Neill died this morning in Sydney, Australia. He completed the 26th death trilogy, the celebrity death trilogy of the year 2026. He joins Randolph Mantooth, Lindsey Graham, and who we just mentioned, Sam Neill. All right, let's go. Dick of the Day. It's time for us to do a Dick of the Day segment. That's where I like to pull somebody out of obscurity. Usually it's just one of us. I promised you that the Dick of the Day was never going to be a president or anything like that. But let's be honest. The Dick of the Day is Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, MMA fighter, probably the most famous MMA fighter in the history of MMA. He's the biggest loudmouth. He's caused the biggest stirs, and everybody talks about him. Conor McGregor came out after 5 years in retirement because dude hasn't won a fight since before the pandemic. No shit. This guy is trash. He's garbage, but he's still a name, and he runs his mouth, so people promote him, and dummies who aren't really paying attention say shit like, I think Conor could win. Fucking Drake put $1 million on Conor McGregor to win the fight. He's either stupid or way too rich. Where $1 million doesn't, because nobody thought that Conor was going to run through Max Holloway. Max Holloway is a legitimate warrior. He's a serious man. He's a quiet man. He's not a self-promoter. He doesn't have multiple brands of whiskey. You know, Conor McGregor is a guy who very effectively, more so than anyone in the history of this still young sport, MMA, UFC, whatever you want to call it, it's still relatively young. He is the most effective star in the sport's history. Not the greatest fighter, not the best wins, but the most effective at turning his chance on the podium into something else. So it was very exciting on Saturday night when Conor McGregor was going to come back from 5 years on the. He busted. First of all, here's the problem with Conor McGregor. There were a couple of guys who also fought in weight classes that he would compete in because Conor jumped around weight classes. There were a bunch of guys at different weight classes who could just kick his ass. All right. So that's really what happened to Conor McGregor. Early in the Conor McGregor story, he cleaned shop in a couple of divisions that weren't really good. So he was a multiple division champion, and everybody's like, he's the greatest of all time. But then those divisions got better, and he could no longer compete in them. So, you know, Khabib, let's just call him Khabib. Couldn't beat Khabib. Khabib was probably the most dominant fighter in his weight class. And so, you know, the idea in the talk of Conor McGregor being the greatest fighter of all time, that was short-lived. As soon as he started fighting real guys, hasn't won a fight since before the pandemic, but he has taken 5 years off, and he does sell pay-per-views, although that's not the case anymore because everything's on Paramount. He does sell Paramount Plus upsell subscriptions. So they brought him out, and we were all very excited. My son and I, we like the sport, and this was not a great fight. That, you know, this was not supposed to be some legendary way. It was just, what's Conor going to do? Can he still fight? Well, he can't. That's what we all learned about Conor McGregor, is that no, he cannot fight. Here's how the fight went down. Remember, 5 years in the making. By the way, this is a rematch from 7, 8 years ago or something like that, when Max Holloway, the guy on the right, Max Holloway was a young fighter, a very well-regarded up-and-coming young fighter. He fought Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor beat him. And that was years ago. And since then, Max Holloway has just become a wrecking machine, just a guy who is a professional fighter who just does the job to win. He doesn't self-promote. He's not out there with, again, vodkas or whiskeys. No, he's a warrior. He has this whole Hawaiian thing. He comes from Hawaii. He's like this Hawaiian Samoan kind of mentality. So you can see how that doesn't really jive with Conor McGregor's over-the-top Irish life of the party, loudmouth bullshit. So they have sort of been squawking at each other for years and years. And it was announced that they would finally fight. And I think most reasonable people were like, hey, it's going to be fun to watch Conor get his ass kicked, isn't it? That's pretty much what we were thinking. But Conor assured everybody that he'd never been better in his life, and that he'd already beaten him, and that if you tune in, you're going to see one of the greatest fights. He really sold the fight, which is what Conor McGregor does. So here we go. Here's the fight we all waited for. And by the way, there is nothing worse than waiting for a 10:30 main event fight. You tune in at 7, and it's all the bullshit, and it's all the hype, and it's all, I'm so excited, man. These guys, when they get into the ring, Joe Rogan has no credibility in these fight situations. He's just a hype machine. Anyway, here it was. This is what we waited for.
What's going on? About as anticlimactic an end as there could be. McGregor's injured. And now that's going to do it.
That's it. All right. Here, let's go back one more time so we get. All right, 3:58. So this is 3:57 of the first round. That means that 1 minute and 3 seconds have passed. Is that right? Did I do that right? 1 minute and 3 seconds of this fight has passed. Now, what preceded this was Conor McGregor started the fight by trying to kick Max Holloway in the head. He missed. And, over the course of the next minute, Max Holloway just kind of beat the fuck out of him on the ground. And then Conor was stood back up. They said, all right, this is going on the ground. Let's stand him back up. Again, remember, Only 63 seconds have gone by in this fight that we have waited years for. The rematch, Max has not been really saying anything, but Conor has been running his mouth for 5 years. This is 63 seconds into the fight after, by the way, the first 63 seconds, Conor got his ass kicked. Here's how he doesn't want to fight.
That's going to do it.
Oh my goodness. What's going on?
About as anticlimactic an end as there could be. McGregor's injured. There's some injury he's dealing with.
But why do they? It looks like his right leg.
One more time.
That's
God.
going to do it.
Oh my goodness.
All
What's
right.
going on?
About as anticlimactic an end as there could be. McGregor's.
All right, so you're probably pugs. Why is he the douche of the day for that? He's the douche of the day because he knew he was injured. He was injured going into this fight, but there was so much hype and there was so much money, and he was set to make so much money. And with gambling now, he can't just. Drake lost $1 million. Drake put $1 million on Conor. So Conor to win $1 million, and that's it. Conor doesn't even fight. He comes out. He's like, "Oh, I tried to kick and I hurt myself." He was hurt beforehand. He knew he was hurt. He should have pulled out, but pulling out would have caused all kinds of chaos. Probably would have affected the money that he was set to receive for it. So, I'm going forward. That's what I believe. I believe that Conor McGregor showed up for a fight injured. He knew he wasn't going to be able to finish, and there we have. He never even got touched. And poor Max Holloway. Max is a warrior. He's a gentleman. He is a Samoan, Eastern-minded, whatever. He's one of these guys who does like Zen and all of that stuff. He was denied the opportunity to beat the fuck out of somebody that a lot of us wanted to see have their ass handed to him. Douche of the day, Conor McGregor. I believe he was fine. I believe that he went into that fight knowing that he was injured, and he wasted all of our time. All of our time. That's today's douche of the day. Let's move on now, or dick of the day. We used to call it douche of the day, right? We used to call it douche of the day on Live 105.3 with me and Kelly, because the station, CBS Radio, they didn't like us saying dick. I wanted it to be dick, but now it's dick of the day. I think there's more of a role to dick of the day, dick of the day, dick of the day, right? Then more so. All right, 3 videos real quick. 3 videos that have been going around. How about this one? Did you see this? This was viral. This is the rich people. They have all the fun, cool seats. This apparently occurred at an Usher concert where Usher is in the middle of doing Usher type things. And he spots Dave Chappelle. How fun is that? He's like, "Is that Dave Chappelle in the VIP section?" Of course it is. Dave's not going to sit in shit seats with the rest of us. All right, there's one video. Second video today. Let's see. What am I going to choose to go with here? Yeah, okay. How about this? Let's break this one down. So these are like a couple of girls. I don't know what they're doing. It looks like a recreation area. It looks like hiking trails. Maybe there's a beach nearby. I don't know what they're doing. They're just chicks, just doing chick-like things. And then some dude, some Karen, some guy comes over. He starts yelling at these girls. Let's watch what happened. I like this video. Maybe you've seen it. It was going around over the weekend. I don't know where this is. Hold on. I don't know where this is, but hold on. Here's how I want. We'll show it to you here. All right, let's just watch it. Just mind your own business, people. Mind your own business. And you know what? If I had a daughter, I would be so proud of her. I'd be like, yeah, that's why I got you the bear spray. Check this out. A couple of teenage girls getting harassed by some old guy who's just being a dick.
Back the fuck away. No. Hey, get away. Get away from my face.
I don't have to do it.
Yo.
Because you're stupid and you can't.
All right, first of all, this guy's a massive dork, okay? And these are like a bunch of hot young chicks. This guy doesn't know how to talk to women in general, let alone modern Gen Z hot chicks. So he's in trouble from the beginning. He's got his shirt tucked in. He's like, all right, let's listen to what his problem is. I think it has to do with where these girls are parked. And he could be nicer about it.
Oh. Hey, get away. Get away from my face.
I don't have to do it.
Yo.
Because you're stupid and you can't read a sign.
All right, he's aggressive. He comes forward. She's like, why are you coming at me like this? And he's like, because you're stupid and I'm a retard or whatever. Sorry. What am I now going to get banned because you can't say retard? What I mean is that his mental acuity has been retarded. It is slower. It is not as functionally. Anyway.
Chill the fuck out. Right now. Back away from me right now.
We're about to leave. Like,
I don't know whose dog this is. I'm thinking it's the dog would fit motif wise in with the young girls. They're out there having fun, being innocent with their cute little dog, and it's an Irish setter, and that's good. Or is that a golden? I don't know. This guy's the dick.
we're literally leaving. Okay, then walk away.
Please leave. We already said that we were leaving now.
These are young girls saying, please leave. Please leave. Get the fuck out of there, man. If they're not your daughter, what are you doing? Well, they're parked somewhere. I don't like where they're parked.
Bro, chill the fuck out. Right now. Back away from me right now.
We're about to leave. Like,
Right the fuck now.
we're literally leaving. Okay, then walk away.
Please leave.
We already said that we were leaving. That was the first thing that came out of my mouth.
Yeah, the first thing that came out of my mouth is you're not allowed to park here. You
That's
said,
okay.
I mean, when somebody is parked, and I don't know what authority he has to be, handing this out. They seem to be doing what he asks. But you ask someone, hey, you can't park here. And when they say, okay, we're leaving, you leave it at that. What is this guy trying to accomplish here?
And we're leaving.
Why would I apologize? We're leaving.
You called us an asshole. You were being disrespectful to start with.
Because they're
So.
ticketing people.
Okay, well, we're leaving.
Not your rule that we have to apologize.
Yes, she's absolutely right. She's like, this is not your rule that we have to abide by. What's going on here? You just looking for you a creepy old man looking for a reason to talk to young girls? All right, now he's moving towards a girl who said something shitty to him, okay? He thinks he can just aggressively move forward with what could easily be construed as a weapon. Yeah. Oh, you don't think a fishing rod is a weapon? Give this guy about 10 seconds. You'll see. There. Yeah, she got him. I love that. Sisters got each other. The minute this guy makes a move aggressively towards these other girls, her friend pulls the bear spray out of her purse and gives this fucking old male Karen the justice that we all wanted to see.
We're about to leave. Like,
Right the fuck now.
we're literally leaving. Okay, then walk away.
Please leave. We already said that we were leaving. That was the first thing that came out of my mouth.
Yeah, the first thing that came out of my mouth is you're not allowed to park here. You
That's
said,
okay,
I'm
and we're
sorry.
leaving.
Can I just say, as a man in his 50s, I wish these young girls didn't dress this way. Like I'm trying to these are friends of my sons. That's how you gotta mentally look. But why are they dressed like strippers? They really are. It's body shame, not body shaming. I'm just saying that as a man of my age, I don't know, too sexual. Are these girls dressed too like strippers? I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. I bet they're lovely girls and they're just victimized by the fashion expectations of the time of which they live.
Why would I apologize?
You called us
Because
an
you're
asshole.
breaking, because
You were being disrespectful to start with.
they're
So.
ticketing people.
Okay, well, we're leaving.
Not your rule that we have to apologize for. Don't come up in
Here we go. There you go.
Back the fuck away.
And now the weapon. He's now using the fishing poles as a weapon. All right.
Don't come up in my face.
Back the fuck away. Back the fuck away.
He may even in this moment think that he's justified because he may not realize that just walking towards a young girl who just said something shitty to you can be construed by a woman as an aggressive move. And you are deserving of the bear spraying. Stand your ground. What are you moving? Why are you moving towards her after she said something shitty to you? Are you trying to intimidate her with your size? Because this bad bitch got a fucking bag full of bear spray coming your way, my guy.
Not your rule that we have to apologize for. Don't come up in my face.
Back the fuck away. Back the fuck away.
Hey! Alright, get in the car. Let's go.
Back the fuck away from me. You just fucking hit me. You're gonna break your fucking window.
What the fuck is is wrong with you?
Let's go, man.
Good job. That's it. Fucking weirdo.
Open it.
Okay, so that's the girl here who says that's not your rule. He's like, picking people. And she's like, that's not your rule. That's, I guess, what triggers him to move forward. Look at now, look at that. He's got his chin. He's like, yeah, you want to say that to my I mean, that's kind of the energy that he is bringing here. And if these were my daughters or friends of my sons, I'd be like, get the bear spray. Fucking whack this guy. Don't you be moving on young girls like this, you weird ass. Move along. Oh, sorry that they've broken some weird parking rule that you got. Anyway.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Let's go, man.
Bro. Get out of here. Open it.
Not your rule that we have to apologize for. Don't come up in my face.
No!
Back the fuck away.
No.
Back the fuck away.
All right, get in the car. Let's go.
Come on, Ava.
All right, there you have it. He got what he deserved. All right, those are 3 videos. No, wait, that was only the second one, right? We did Dave Chappelle. We did the girls using the bear spray. How about this one? So when I tell you that Putin is desperate and that things are just not going well for the Russian military, here comes some video of a Russian training exercise. This was released over the weekend by Bricks News. Now, I wouldn't share these things if I thought they were bullshit, but Bricks News does pretty good coverage of the war in Ukraine and all that. So when they put this out, I give it a little bit more credibility. But apparently, Russians, this comes to us from, the Russian front. It's not going so well. This is a training. I don't know what this is. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Look at that thing. He's like, stop it. So what did he do? He started firing it and it wasn't locked down or something. I have no idea what this is. It's a gun. I imagine that the force of the brrr is what caused him to start to spin. Let's watch that one more time. Whoa, look at oh my God. Oh, we can laugh. It's the bad guys. Well, if you see the world the way I do, yeah. It's the bad guys. They're not individually horrible people, but they have been sent into war by Vladimir Putin, who's a bad guy. Jesus, look at that. Now this guy. So what the hell? Oh, Jesus, get down. Oh, he's got to stop it. Stop it. All right, there you have it. The war not going well on any front for Russia. A little training exercise mishap there. Let's end today's show with another walk down the beautiful baseball trail. That's right. Tonight is the All-Star game. Well, no, tomorrow's the All-Star game. Tonight is the only reason to watch or be interested in the All-Star game. It's the Home Run Derby. Home Run Derby. Favorites are any combination of Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper. They're the 2 local entrants. They play for the Phillies. The game is in Philly. So everybody's like, they're going to win. They're going to win. Mooney, I'm telling you, Mooney is going to get hot today. Munetaka Murakami, who had 20 home runs like 6 weeks ago and hasn't played in 6 weeks. Well, that's not true. He played this weekend. He came off the injured list, stuck at 20 home runs. He's still like in the top. He was number 1 in baseball when he got hurt. He was leading baseball with 20 home runs. Hasn't hit a home run in forever because he's been injured. And he's still up there. He's still doing pretty good. Anyway, point is this. He played for 3 games coming off the injury this weekend. He played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Did all right. He did fine. Made some really nice defensive plays at first base. Got some hits. It's not like he's always doing his striking out like he's a complete waste back there. But he's getting his groove back. He's trying to get back into, playing form. Had a double. I think he got a couple of singles and a double, a few walks. He did fine. But when it's Mooney, you're looking for the big home run. Well, I'm telling you, tonight at the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby, he's going to find his stroke. He has been working to get back to his stroke. This might be exactly what we want. So my pick, and of course I'm biased because it's my team, but my pick is that Munetaka Murakami is going to fucking introduce himself to the greater baseball world, who may have only tangentially heard of him and do not see him in the same light as maybe we on the South Side do. Mooney for the win tonight. All right, now, there's another guy on my team who will be joining Munetaka Murakami there in the All-Star game. And I've been telling you about this guy all season. This is today's Can't Beat Fun at the Old Ballpark. I've been telling you about this guy all season because he's such a curiosity. Because I remember on opening day, when I saw him there in center field, I remember thinking, what is this? What is this, a filler? Is this because Austin Hayes is hurt? Like we had outfielders who were supposed to be the White Sox starting outfielders, and everybody was hurt, so it was sort of a mismatch. We had a guy playing left field who had never played left field before. He's a second baseman, but he's out there. And then we got this guy in center field. Disposable, right? Player to be named later. Quite frankly, a cash consideration acquisition. This is a player who I think Tampa or maybe the Marlins, they had the rights to, and we made a deal with the White Sox over a bunch of other stupid shit. And this was the cash consideration. This contract for this guy that nobody thought anything about. His name is Tristan Peters. And when he first appeared in the outfield for my team, I was like, okay, well, I shouldn't even memorize his name because he ain't going to be around long. Well, baseball's a weird thing. And Tristan Peters was pretty good. We're like, hey, that guy, that no-name guy in center field, he's doing pretty good. Then, we start to learn his history. He's a Savannah Banana. How embarrassing. I mean, the White Sox were like one of the worst teams in baseball over the last 4 years. And now we're supposedly getting better and working towards getting better. And you've got a Savannah Banana in center field. What is going on here? It's kind of embarrassing. No other team in the league was interested in this clown. He was known as a tremendous defensive player who could bunt, and that was it. He could really bunt good, and he had great speed, so maybe he could beat out a bunt, but that was it. And the White Sox were desperate, so he started playing center field. Well, he's played center field for the entire season. He is on a very good young White Sox game, a rookie, and appearing to be our center fielder of the future, which is found gold. Again, this is one of these player to be named later / cash consideration roster spots that we didn't invest anything in. So here's what this kid, the Savannah Banana, this is what the Savannah Banana did on Friday night. And let me tell you, if you were out there at the ballpark on Friday night, you could not beat this level of fun. All right, here you go. Watch this. Tristan Peters on Friday night, the Savannah Banana, who all the experts said would never make it at the major league level. Savannah Banana becomes only the third player in 2026 to do what is a very difficult thing in Major League Baseball to do, which is hit for the cycle. He's the first person from a couple of really incredible things about this Savannah Banana, who is a cash consideration roster spot, brought in because it was an emergency. We just need anybody. Couple of interesting things. First player in Major League Baseball history since 1905 to hit for the cycle from the 9 spot. From the 9 spot, which is, he's the worst hitter on the team. And he's not the worst hitter on our team. And before the game, my son and I are watching this, and I'm like, why do we have Peters at 9? Why is he batting in the 9 hole? Peters is a 5, 6, 7 hitter all year. Anyway, since 1905, first player to do it, first rookie to do it, first person to do it. From the hitting for the cycle means you have come up at least 4 times and you've gotten a single, a double, a triple, and a home run. And for a guy who is mocked as the Banana Bonds, or initially it was Banana Boy, everybody would call him that. Oh, Banana Boy's playing today. Somebody was mocked that way. To have the kind of night that he had Friday on the big stage. And it was a big game. The Friday night White Sox games are very big. They do this thing called Friday Night Access, and it's electric, and it's crazy. Anyway, I just couldn't be happier for this guy, and it's just a reminder that it doesn't matter what the experts tell you. You're not going to make it. This kid was told time and time again that he would never make it in Major League Baseball. Go play clown baseball for a while and then knock around the independent leagues and see if anybody will pay attention to you. Well, Tristan Peters got the attention of Chris Getz and the Chicago White Sox, and he was the opening day starter. Hit for the cycle on Friday, and then this in the locker room on Saturday afternoon. This was the day after Tristan Peters hits for his cycle. This happened, and we couldn't be happier for him. Let's watch. Nope, not that. There we go.
Hey guys, thank you for getting together this morning. We have another special announcement. So, Mike Vassell, you're up.
This guy, we all love him. But as the assistant to the assistant hitting coach, my favorite thing about this guy is his swing is truly just so unique. You know, I heard Showman say yesterday, one of the worst swings in the big leagues, correct?
Terrible swing.
He's a centaur. He's a Canadian. We all love you, Tristan Peters. Since April 21st, he's been one of the best hitters in the American League, slashing .323, batting average .374 on base, .537 slug. We love that. His addition gives us 3 position players at the All-Star game for the first time since 2006. Tristan Peters, you are an all-star.
That's incredible. It's a dream come true. I mean, I just have to thank God. This is incredible. I'm so blessed. This year's been such a blessing, and I want to thank you guys too. It's just been some of the most fun I've had playing baseball ever. It's just a really special group of guys. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
All right, there you have it. What a story. I believe that is the Major League Baseball story, feel-good story of the season. That is a Disney movie, making the story of he's a kid, he's from Canada. He loves Jesus. You know, nobody thought that he had the hit tools because he has such an ugly swing that none of the experts could figure how this kid can hit, and yet he can. So they made him bunt. They turned him into like a bunting expert, and that was the only avenue that he saw to get any attention from Major League Baseball GMs and scouts, was to just be like the greatest bunter that they've ever seen. Well, guess what? Because of the emergency situation the White Sox found themselves in, he needed to be an everyday player, and he needed to do more than just bunt. And guess what? He's hitting .324. His OPS is like .890 or something. So what a great story. What a great story from a good young man who everybody said, give it up. Go sell shoes. Go do insurance. Tristan Peters said no. He kept grinding. He got his chance. And guess what? He's an all-star who hit for the cycle on Friday. Best story in baseball this year. All right, that's going to do it. I do want to one more time thank everybody who has helped out this June so far. The show runs on your generous tips, either to the Cash App or the Venmo account. That goes directly to me. It's how we feed ourselves. It's how we put gas in the car. And it's how we're able to do this kind of talk radio every single day. The kind of talk radio doesn't carry water for one political party. Kind of talk radio doesn't really want to be political. Kind of show that just wants to gather like-minded normal people in one place every day at noon and talk about this shit that's happening to all of us. We do it every day. We've been doing it every day at noon since 2026. And it's because of you. It's because you people help us out. So please drop a little something if you're so inclined. Encourage me to continue. Hey, look, I'm going to do it anyway because this is therapy and I love you guys. But you can make it easier for us by dropping a little something in either the Cash App or the Venmo. All right. Tonight, Boy and I are going to have salads. Right now I've got to go. We had a problem. I'll talk about it tomorrow. So I got to go run out right now. Then we've got the home run contest. The only reason to watch Major League Baseball, although I did watch the Futures game yesterday. That was fun. The home run derby tonight, 7:00. ESPN, probably. It better be. Like, if it's one of them deals where it's like only on the Major League base, they wouldn't do that. It's going to be on ABC, right? This is something that America likes. Home run derby tonight. Munetaka Murakami's going to be your champion. or he's going to be eliminated in the first round. Every time one of my guys, a guy that I really want to see dominate in the home run contest, well, since Frank used to do pretty good back in the day. But ever since then, like Jose Abreu, like every Chicago White Sox player who comes up, Daniel Palka, to participate in the home run, they always get eliminated in the first round. I think the Chicago White Sox have the best pure home run hitter in Major League Baseball on their roster currently, and that dude is going to be taking swings. Munetaka Murakami is going to be in the home run derby. Love it. They announced that on Saturday. They held the spot for him. Major League Baseball knows what they're doing. He had been injured. He came back. He came off the injured list on Friday, and like within, after he played Friday's game on Saturday, they said, okay, we're going to lock down the home run derby contest. They should have locked it down by Friday, but they held the space open for Mooney to see if he would be willing to play or participate. And he did. So go ahead. Put all your money on Schwarber. Schwarber's a good pick. Schwarber's great. Honestly, I know I just said Mooney, but I think Schwarber might be the greatest pure home run hitter in baseball currently. Schwarber's definitely up there. Then you got that kid. Who's the kid? Rodriguez? Anyway, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun if you like long balls. Chicks dig the long balls, but so does pugs. Love the long ball. We're going to see 500-plus foot home runs. We're going to see 500s. Of course we will, because it's home run derby. All right, guys, that's it. Back in a minute. Why is the back in the minute thing up there? That's the thing that should be up there. All right, guys, I love you. We'll be back tomorrow, right? Tomorrow at noon, right? Like, follow, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. We'll talk then. Be good and stay neighborly.